He was the monster that let his brother be a saint. For 20 straight years, Cyan Vert did the impossible. He stopped the Demon King's raid when the Knights of Light failed. He won the bloody succession war. He slaughtered thousands in the dark, all so his perfect brother Askel could stand in the light and be called a hero. He gave his entire life to being his brother's loyal shadow. And his reward? To be framed as a demon. To be called a murderer by the very man he lived for. To be hunted, abandoned, and finally, to have his brother's holy sword run straight through his chest. In his final moment, the world rewinds and he regressed back 27 years ago. This time he will use these demonic powers they feared, and systematically take everything from his brother. His title, his glory, his power, and finally, his life. We're on a desolate battlefield, and our boy, Cyan Vert, is completely wrecked. He's on his knees, coughing up a lung, his body screaming in protest, but he's still trying to hold his ground. You see, his entire life, he's been fed one line by his father, live for the clan. And what did that mean? It meant, don't desire anything for yourself, and just stay by your brother's side like a good little shadow. He's surrounded by enemies. One of them, a smug bastard with a punchable face named Boris, is just standing there, soaking it all in. What a priceless sight, he sneers. He's actually impressed, rambling about how a single knight is fighting off the continent's strongest commanders all by himself. He even calls him, that man's brother, just to twist the knife. Cyan Vert, he yells, making sure everyone knows his name. Boris keeps on monologuing, pointing out the sickening black fog of demonic power rolling off Cyan's body. He points his finger and declares, you are an assassin from Mist. He's practically giddy, explaining that Mist is the dark opposite to their Knights of Light. He boasts that he's trapped Cyan inside a 9th star magic barrier, a top-tier spell that nobody should be able to break. Cyan is running on pure adrenaline and fumes. His demonic power is the only thing keeping him from collapsing. He knows he's been set up. He has to get out of this barrier, he has to find out who the real culprit is. He steels himself, his eyes glowing a dangerous red, channeling every last drop of power he has. A barrier, he thinks, I'll just tear it to bits. But just as he's about to unleash hell, a cold, familiar voice cuts through the air. That's enough, Cyan. Cyan freezes. He looks up. Descending from the sky in a blaze of golden, holy light is the one man he never expected to see. His older brother. The hero of the continent. Askel Vert. Cyan's mind just short-circuits. Askel. Why is he here? Askel lands, his face a perfect mask of disappointment, not looking at Cyan, but at the man, Boris. You seem confused that I'm here. He then turns his cold, dead eyes to Cyan. Cyan, you've carried out your duties well. For the clan, for the people, and, he pauses, for me. For me. Cyan is completely lost. What is he talking about? Did he do something wrong? He's been fighting for his brother this whole time. Askel's face twists in pure, unadulterated disgust. Wrong? That ominous fog. You're nothing more than a murderer. I can't even call you human anymore. And there it is. The stab in the back. The ultimate betrayal. Askel starts screaming at him, his hero persona cracking to reveal the monster underneath. You've fooled us for long enough. Can you really say that you don't know your sins? Cyan is just broken. Murderer. My sins. This is the man he dedicated his entire life to. He did all the dirty work, all the back alley assassinations so Askel could win the succession fight for the throne. He plunged into the shadows to stop the Demon King's raid, all so Askel could get the glory for unifying the continent. Serving Askel was his life's purpose. He worked like a dog for this man for 20 years. And now, with all the enemies gone, he's just being thrown away. Something inside Cyan snaps. The confusion vanishes, replaced by a boiling, volcanic rage. He's done being a tool. He's done being a shadow. It doesn't matter if my entire body breaks down. He roars, his voice raw with hatred as demonic power explodes from his body. I will give everything I have right now. If it means I can destroy you. He unleashes all his remaining power in one massive, crimson shockwave. The knights around Askel freak out. That's impossible. How does he still have that much mana left? That's no human. Cyan, now just a blur of red and black, scoffs at the so-called hero of the continent. How silly. The hero is trying to kill his younger brother, because he's afraid. He charges, screaming, aren't you ashamed of yourself? He knows Askel's secret. He knows his brother's one weak point, the one spot on his body that can't regenerate. He pours every ounce of his life into this final attack. Just once. Once is enough. But just as his demonic blade is about to hit its mark, Boris, that loyal dog, leaps in front and throws up a golden magic shield, blocking the fatal blow. Cyan is blown back, his energy spent. Askel just smiles, that cold, heartless smile. You poor bastard. I wanted to do you the favor of giving you a painless death, since you are my brother. But you have shown your true colors. He raises his own holy sword, its light burning against Cyan's darkness. I knew that was what you were from the start. A demon. Cyan, bleeding and broken, can only look on in disbelief. It's a good thing I never trusted you to begin with, Askel says. And with that, the hero of the continent, the man Cyan gave his life for, runs his own brother through with his holy sword. As Cyan lies there, the life bleeding out of him, Askel and his lackeys just turn their backs and walk away. Cyan's vision goes dark. Damn it, is this my end? What a foolish, stupid, life I've led. His eyes close for the last time, only to jolt wide open with a strangled gasp. He's gasping for air, clutching his throat. He's not dead. He's in a bed. A young woman with brown hair is standing over him, hands on her hips, looking annoyed. How long do you intend to sleep for? Get it together. You need to get ready, young master. Cyan is completely and totally lost. Emily, he whispers. His maid? But that's impossible. Why are you here? It's been almost 20 years since he last saw her. But she looks exactly the same. She hasn't aged a day. Emily just looks at him like he's crazy. What are you talking about? Are you still dreaming? Cyan looks around in a panic. This place, this is his childhood room. The furniture, the layout, it's all the same. He scrambles up and looks at his hands. They're small, soft, not the calloused, scarred hands of a master assassin. Wait, he thinks, his heart pounding in his chest. Am I back to being a child? Young Master Cyan. Emily shouts, snapping him out of it. You're stalling for time because you don't want to go for training, huh? Make up your mind and get going. Training? What training? He stumbles out of his room, the sunlight hitting his face. He looks out over the familiar sight of his home, the Vert clan duchy. It all comes rushing back. This feeling. This isn't a dream. This isn't his life flashing before his eyes. He's really back in the past. He remembers the date. Foundation year 985, March 1st, 27 years ago. This is the day of the annual duel training session. The day his life went completely off the rails. He's standing in the courtyard, and across from him is his opponent, Krantz Vert. His half-brother, the same age as him. But that's where the similarities end. Krantz is the legitimate son of the Duke's wife, the Duchess Margaret Erzith. He's the golden boy. And Cyan? He's just the bastard son, a laughingstock to everyone. In his first life, he got utterly humiliated in this fight. He was beaten down, a crying, pathetic mess. And after this duel, his father, Duke Vert, stopped paying him any attention at all. This was the day his fate as a shadow was sealed. Even his personal maid, Emily, is looking at him with pity. Why don't you just surrender instead? He's a joke to everyone. But this time, things are different. He may be trapped in the weak, untrained body of a 10-year-old, but his mind, his soul, is that of a 37-year-old master assassin who fought the strongest beings on the continent. He grips the small rapier they gave him. It's laughably heavy in his tiny hands, but it'll have to do. He looks at Emily, his eyes now dead cold, all the childishness gone. It's fine. I just need to win. He walks out onto the dueling ground. His father, the Duke, sits on his throne, looking bored. Beside him, the Duchess Margaret has a smug smile, already sure of her son's victory. His half-brother Krantz stands there, sneering. You didn't run off, huh? The Duke raises his hand. Let's begin. Krantz doesn't even wait for a proper start. He charges, screaming like a banshee. Where are you looking, you idiot? He swings his sword in a wide, sloppy, predictable overhead arc. Cyan just stands there, completely unimpressed. To his assassin's eyes, the attack is so slow it's almost comical. What? He thinks, is he a snail? With the barest minimum of movement, a tiny sidestep, he avoids the blade completely. Krantz stumbles past, furious at missing. Dodging like a coward, huh? Krantz keeps swinging wildly, and Cyan just keeps dodging. He's not even breaking a sweat. It's like an adult toying with a child. Krantz, getting more and more frustrated, abandons his sword skill entirely and just throws a desperate, sloppy punch. This is the opening. Cyan's assassin instincts take over. He blocks the punch with one hand, his other hand flashing out. But he's not aiming for the body. He's not aiming for the face. He delivers a single, brutal, calculated kick directly to Krantz's shin. The sound of the bone cracking echoes across the silent courtyard. Krantz lets out an unholy shriek of pure agony and collapses to the ground, clutching his shattered leg. The Duchess, his mother, leaps to her feet, screaming his name, her face pale with shock. The entire crowd is stunned into silence. The duel's over. Cyan is standing over his whimpering, defeated brother, his sword still at his side. All he has to do is put the sword to Kranz's throat, and it's a clean victory. But that's not enough. He remembers. He remembers everything. All the years of relentless, soul-crushing bullying. Kranz beating him just for entertainment, just because he was a bastard. He remembers how that bullying continued, day after day, even at the academy. No, this isn't just about winning a duel. This is about setting the record straight. This is about retribution. I need to really stomp him down, Cyan thinks, his eyes glowing with a terrifying, cold fury, so that he can never try to do anything to me again. In this new life, he is paving his own path. And that path starts right here. He steps forward, grabs Kranz's outstretched arm, and with a sharp, brutal twist, he snaps it backwards at the elbow. The scream is cut short as Kranz's eyes roll back into his head. He foams at the mouth and passes out cold from the sheer, agonizing pain. The result of the duel is Kranz's absolute, humiliating loss. The entire Duke's household is in an uproar. Our boy gets summoned to see the Duke immediately, which never happened in his first life. And this time, he's being escorted by Yulkin, a high-class knight directly affiliated with the Duke. This is a massive change. On the way to the Duke's office, he runs right into the Duchess Margaret. She looks like she just stepped in a pile of shit. Is Kranz? She starts to ask, her voice trembling with rage. Madam, Yulkin says, trying to be polite. But the Duchess explodes. You have the audacity to ask a question after beating your brother like that? How thick-skinned of you. Cyan, with the 10-year-old face and 37-year-old assassin's soul, just shrugs. That's how duels are. See you. He makes to walk right past her. The disrespect is so thick you could cut it with a knife. As he goes, he hears her seething under her breath. This is why bastards shouldn't be treated like legitimate children. Like mother, like son. It's all because the mother is some dirty whore. Cyan stops dead in his tracks. His vision narrows. His blood runs cold. A switch flips in his head. She has crossed the line. The killing intent that he's been holding back just floods the hallway. It's so intense, the air itself feels heavy. Should I just kill her? Right here, right now? No. He reins it in. Death is too quick. It's a mercy. I know better than anyone how to make her suffer, he thinks, his face a cold, emotionless mask. I'm going to torture her. Slowly, painstakingly slowly. He turns around, and the most chilling, psychopathic smile spreads across his 10-year-old face. His eyes are glowing. You know I'm going to the academy as well along with Kranz, right? He leans in, his voice a whisper. I'm sure you want your son to graduate with his limbs intact, right? Her face goes from red with rage to white with terror. She's speechless. She gets it. This isn't a child. This is a monster. I guess you're not that worried about him, huh, Duchess? She rears back her hand, you vulgar piece of shit. But before her hand can even move, Yulkin, the guard, steps between them like a stone wall. I apologize, Duchess. The Duke called for him with urgency, so I don't think we can delay anymore. He just completely stonewalls her. The Duchess is left trembling, her hand in the air, totally powerless. Cyan just smirks. The Duke's orders are absolute. A knight who won't submit even to the Duke's wife. How nice and reliable, Cyan thinks. He's going to remember this guy. He's brought into the Duke's office. He greets his father. It's been almost 15 years since they last met one-on-one like this. This is Duke Vert, the guardian of the continent, the hero who stopped the demon invasion for decades. A man who shouldered a responsibility no one asked him to, fighting to the death for peace. But in Cyan's memories, he's just a stupid man. A man who chose to utilize his free will to decide on living his whole life serving other people, instead of his own son. The Duke, his back to Cyan, cuts right to the chase. He's sharp. Your eyes precisely followed the sword and dodged it, he says, not even turning around. The moment Kranz ran at you, you looked straight at the path of the swinging sword, and turned your body to dodge it. When did you learn to wield a sword? Cyan is tense. His father isn't an idiot. He lies, saying he just practiced on his own at night. The Duke turns, his eyes like steel. From what I know, you've never had any interest in swordsmanship. Why did you hide such excellent talent? He then leans in. And, despite all that, you really went all out at taking down Kranz. Wasn't what you did after that unnecessary? He's talking about the arm break. Cyan realizes his father is testing him, trying to get a feel for what he's capable of. He can't lie. He needs to give an answer that this man, this guardian, will respect. He looks his father dead in the eye. I wanted to prove myself. The Duke raises an eyebrow. Prove? Prove what? That I'm better than Kranz, even though we share the same blood, which is also what I concluded as the meaning of the duel. The Duke stares at him for a long, tense second, and then he laughs. A deep, booming laugh. Kakik, excellent. A clear and concise answer that shows off your level-headedness. He's delighted. I didn't know you were so talented. I'm delighted. Cyan is floored. This is good. His father is actually proud. But then, it all comes crashing down. The Duke smiles, a smile that doesn't reach his eyes, and says, "You'll become a great, reliable support for the Askel one day." Cyan's world freezes. The air goes out of his lungs. What? Even now, even after he proved his own worth, after he showed his talent, it's still all about Askel. He's still just a replacement, a tool, a helper for his perfect hero brother. A cold, dark fury settles in his gut. The same rage from the battlefield. It's the same as always. He's still as obsessed as ever with Askel. Fine. If that's how it's going to be, then I'll destroy everything, he thinks, his eyes burning. Everything that Askel fucking tried to do. The Duke, completely oblivious to his son's internal declaration of war, says, "I want to reward you for this duel. If you want something, you can tell me." Cyan knows exactly what he wants. This is his chance. He looks his father dead in the eye. "What I want, is to go to the battlefront." The second he says it, his maid Emily bursts into his room later, absolutely freaking out. "Young master, are you out of your mind? Do you have any idea what kind of place that is? It's swarming with wicked, and terrifying demonic beasts." Cyan just sits there, cleaning a dagger, completely unfazed. He knows exactly what it is. It's Lemia Valley, the only place in the entire continent that can be called a battlefront. His father, who stubbornly opposed the idea from the start, gave him one single condition: become worthy of going to Lemia Valley within 1 month. He knows he has his work cut out for him. "I just gotta raise my physical strength as much as possible," he thinks. "I'm still weaker than my peers. But he has an edge. He has his 37 years of combat sense, and he can feel a little bit of magic, a little bit of that demonic power, still inside him. If he can train this 10-year-old body, he can make it work." But right as he's making his new training plan, his door bursts open again. Cyan. This time, it's his older sister, Alice. And she looks pissed. She storms in, grabs him right by the collar, and lifts him clean off the ground, shaking him like a ragdoll. "I heard you asked father to send you to the battlefield. It looks like defeating Krantz got to your head." She throws him onto the floor. "This won't do. Come with me to the rooftop." Now, she drags him outside, onto the castle rooftop in the middle of a cold, rainy night. She is dead serious. "We start when we draw our swords. I'll let you go to the battlefront, if you can endure my attacks for 3 minutes. Cyan is just exhausted. First Krantz, now his crazy, overprotective sister. "Do you really have to go this far, Alice?" Alice doesn't back down. "Answer one question. Are you after the family's title?" He tells her he couldn't care less about it, and that just sets her off. "So you are, huh? Draw your sword." She comes at him with a full power, two-handed overhead swing. This isn't a test, this is an execution. Cyan's eyes widen. "Are you really trying to go all out against your brother who's 7 years younger?" He's forced to parry the blow, and the force of the impact sends sparks flying and cracks the stone beneath his feet. Alice is visibly stunned. "No way, he blocked that." She knows his rapier is just a light, flimsy blade. It should have shattered against her longsword. A terrifying, manic grin spreads across her face. "You've got better intuition than I thought, my dear Cyan." Cyan just thinks, I'm screwed. She unleashes an absolute storm of attacks, a whirlwind of steel and fury that he can barely keep up with. He's dodging and parrying on pure instinct. He just manages to block a strike aimed at his neck, but the raw force sends him skidding halfway across the rooftop. He's sweating, his small body is screaming. Damn it. He's barely holding on, his 10-year-old body just can't keep up with his assassin's mind. He realizes, that could have been bad. If I hadn't twisted my sword midway through, I would have killed her. His entire skill set is built to kill immediately, and it's taking all his concentration to not fatally wound his own sister, all while his strength is lacking. He's running out of time and mana. He can feel his limit approaching. And just then, Alice raises her sword high, and it begins to glow with an intense, bright blue aura. Cyan's eyes go wide in pure horror. 6th star magic. Aqua blade. He knows that attack. He knows he can't block that. I'll fall off the castle even if I were to block that. He's out of options. He's cornered. In a last-ditch, desperate gamble, he screams at the top of his lungs, "Yulkin!" In a blinding flash of light, Yulkin appears out of thin air, his massive sword blocking Alice's magic-infused blade just inches from Cyan's face. The knight looks absolutely furious. "Miss Alice, you're being too harsh against a much younger opponent." Cyan, still hanging off Yulkin's arm, just grins, wiping sweat from his brow. "Phew, I was wondering when he was going to appear." Alice is in shock. But then, just like that, all the rage drains out of her. Her face crumples, and she just breaks. She tackles Cyan in a hug, sobbing uncontrollably into his shoulder. Sorry, Cyan. I must have lost my mind. I just wanted to stop you from going to the battlefield. I was so obsessed with that. Cyan is just stunned. He just holds her. This is his sister. The elite of the elites from the Royal Academy, so talented they called her God's child. The one who was always mentioned in the same breath as the hero Askel. And in his past life, not long after joining the Knights of Light, she was killed. He hugs her back, a feeling he hasn't felt in decades. I missed you, Alice. I'll protect you this time. He realizes Yulkin is still standing there and asks him what he's doing. The stoic knight explains he's under the Duke's secret orders to protect the young master Cyan for a while. Cyan knew it. He wouldn't have shown himself if I didn't notice him. But why did father tell Yulkin to secretly protect me? He's still being tested. The next day, Alice returns to the academy. Cyan gets right back to his main problem, his laughably weak 10-year-old body. He's been doing strength training for 2 solid weeks, and he's hit a wall. He's shaking, sweating, and can't even do 10 push-ups. 10 is my limit. In his past life, he had a decent body, but now he's just a kid. I want to go back. I need a solution. He needs a cheat code. He calls his maid, Emily, and gives her a special task. Really? She asks. A little while later, she returns, gagging. Young master, what is this? It smells so disgusting. She's holding a bottle of thick, blackish red liquid. It's hellhound's blood, Cyan says calmly. He had her get it from the black market. It's a rare item from Lemia Valley. He knows that most people think it's just a poisonous, disgusting rumor. But from his past life, his 27 years of experience, he knows the truth. It permanently increases the user's mana and strength. Emily is horrified. Young master, are you really going to drink that? He just smiles. Yeah. He remembers Emily's infamous mushroom soup from his past life, a concoction so vile his heart literally stopped after one bite. Compared to that soup, he thinks, this is nothing. He takes the bowl, and without a second of hesitation, he chugs the entire thing. The bowl slams down on the table. His eyes bug out, turning blood red. He lets out a massive yell. It's good. Emily just looks on in absolute, unqualified horror. He can feel the power coursing through him, a burning sensation in his veins. He stands up. Emily, I'm gonna go for a walk. Now, it's time to see if it worked. He's been waiting 2 weeks for this exact moment. The one day when his guard, Yulkin, isn't here for his regular reports. He makes a break for the forest behind the castle, a place he used to go to be alone. This is the exact spot. This is where, in his first life, his perfect brother Askel received a so-called divine revelation from the god of light, Lumendal. But the divine revelation hasn't happened yet. He's here first. He's hijacking his brother's destiny. Askel. He grins. I bet you can't even imagine what I'm doing right now. He finds the spot where the mana is concentrated, but instead of praying for some holy power, he floods his hands with his own demonic energy, courtesy of the hellhound's blood. He slams his palms into the ground. The earth shatters, rocks flying everywhere, and a dark, hidden entrance opens up in the ground. Let's go. He steps inside. It's different from his memories. This is the ancient temple that served the god of light, Lumendal, until all its history was erased. And right in the center of the massive, ruined chamber, glowing on an altar, is the legendary holy sword, Duran Dark. This is the god's weaponry that won the war against the demons all those years ago. This is the sword that, in the future, will be the source of his regression. He walks up to it, and places his hand on the hilt. As expected, absolutely nothing happens. He's so annoyed he just kicks the pedestal. That ruined my mood. Holy sword, my ass. He's not here for that anyway. He knows the real secret of this place. He looks past the glowing holy sword and sees a shadow on the floor. But it's not a normal shadow. Where there is light, there must be darkness. This isn't a shadow. It's a pathway. A hidden altar beneath the altar of light. He plunges his hand into the shadow and pulls himself through. He peeks into the dark, hidden chamber below, and there it is. Resting on a dark, ominous pedestal, pulsing with a sinister red energy. He smiles. It's nice to see you, my sword. Demonic sword, Kiram. He reaches out and grabs the hilt. The instant his fingers touch it, a tidal wave of demonic energy erupts, filling the room. He feels Good. This familiar feeling. It's the best. He feels like he wants to slay something right now. A massive, cackling shadow monster, the spirit of the sword, looms over him. Kikikik. Child, don't you have any fear? Don't you know what it means to have awoken me? Cyan, with the completely unfazed face of a 10-year-old, just looks at it. I don't know. It means this sword is now mine. The spirit roars, its voice shaking the temple. Late to regret it now, child. Your body is now mine. It lunges at him, a storm of pure darkness, ready to possess his body and soul. Cyan, his eyes glowing red, doesn't even flinch. He doesn't dodge. He doesn't run. He reaches out, and grabs the shadow spirit by the throat. The spirit freaks out, materializing into the shape of a woman. She's in pure shock. Cook, what are you? How can you touch me? Cyan just smirks, his grip like iron. I told you, this sword is mine. He throws her back. She lands in a heap, looking at him with a mix of fury and confusion. Who are you? Are you the successor? Why do I feel Eru's aura from you? That's right, Cyan says, his face twisting into a demonic, terrifying grin. I'm the successor of Eru. Your master's back. Bow down, demonic sword, Kiram. This pushes her over the edge. You're just a kid. I can't accept this. She launches herself at him, a flurry of shadowy attacks. Our boy just sighs. I guess words won't do. He knows what she's trying to do. The demonic sword's final goal is always to take over the user's body. He dodges her assault and just says the magic words, demonic sword control. Instantly, an invisible, crushing force slams Kiram face first into the stone floor. She's pinned, completely helpless. How can you use that? Eek. He says it again, his voice bored. Demonic sword control. Slam. She's smashed into the ground again, and again, and again. How about now? She's trembling, completely broken, her face pressed to the stone. I'll accept. Human. He starts to say it one more time. Demonic sword con dash. Master, she screams, finally submitting. I'll accept. Master. And just like that, the most powerful demonic sword on the continent is tamed like a misbehaving puppy. Cyan finally lets her up. Now that I've done what I wanted to do here, shall I get back? I've been gone for too long. The demonic sword, Kiram, transforms. Its spirit pops out of the blade as a tiny, angry-looking black and pink blob with a fanged smile. Ah, it's been so long since I breathed fresh air, it chirps. Hey, master, what's your name? He tells her his name is Cyan Vert. She's completely baffled. Cyan, I've never heard of that name before. Eru really chose a kid like you? Yeah, Cyan says, his face serious. In my past life. He tells her straight up, I died once before. Kiram is just completely baffled. Cyan, having tamed his new weapon, walks back to the main hall. He looks at the holy sword, Duran Dark, still sleeping on its pedestal. Kiram, floating next to him, asks, what are you gonna do with that? A wicked, scheming grin spreads across Cyan's face. His eyes glow red. Who knows? Maybe, it'll make things a bit more interesting in the future. He places his hand on the pommel of the holy sword, and a dark, demonic aura begins to creep into it. He's corrupting the ultimate weapon of light. Time flashes forward. A carriage rolls up to the Duke's estate. Cyan, now 13 years old and dressed in light armor, stands tall. He looks completely different from the 10-year-old kid. I can't believe the day has already come. Time sure flies by. Today is the day he leaves for the battlefront. His father, the Duke, stands before him, flanked by his personal knights. He asks him one last time, are you still determined to go to the battlefront? If you want to back out now, I won't stop you. Cyan's resolve is absolute. Yes, sir. My heart already lies at the battlefront. The Duke nods. This is his son's final test. He gives an order. Open it. One of his knights steps forward and unrolls a magic scroll. A massive, fiery magic circle erupts on the ground, and from it, a massive, flaming hellhound is summoned. Cyan just looks at it, completely unfazed. A hellhound? A low-ranked demonic beast from Lemia Valley, huh? He knows exactly what this is. His father and the knights are standing right there, just watching. So they'll sweep in if it gets dangerous, he thinks. His father wants him to prove his resolve by passing this final trial. Cyan just scoffs. A trial, huh? He remembers, just 3 days before this, marching up to his guard Yulkin and asking for a real fight. Yulkin, being a beast of a man, was hesitant. For a duel, someone your age. Cyan just told him to go find Krantz, but Yulkin just sighed. He runs away every time he sees me. what a hassle. If you insist, Cyan said with a bright smile, okay. Instead, I will only fight you with my sword's sheath. Yulkin agreed, saying he'd only focus on defense. But before they started, Cyan's eyes turned cold and red. Ah, I have another favor to ask. Whatever happens from this point on, don't tell father about it. This is an order. The second the duel started, Cyan, the 10-year-old, exploded with the speed and overwhelming power of a veteran assassin. Yulkin could barely block the first hit, his arm shaking from the impact. That was heavy, he thought, his mind blown. I can't believe this. That was the sword of a 10-year-old. Cyan was just too fast. He was a blur of motion, flipping and striking with brutal precision, forcing the high-class knight to go all out on defense, just using his sheath. Yulkin was completely overwhelmed. Phew, Cyan said, landing lightly. As I thought, I can't win against you yet. Yulkin was just left standing there, sweating and in total disbelief, realizing the weak, young master had grown into a monster. And now, Cyan stands in front of this hellhound. After that spar with Yulkin, this low-ranked beast is a joke. He knows his current body is still weak and can't fight a monster for long. He has to end this now. The beast lunges, its flaming jaws wide open, going for the kill. Cyan, using the enhanced senses from the hellhound blood he drank, anticipates its every move. He doesn't dodge back. He runs forward. He plants his training sword straight into the ground, uses the hilt as a springboard, and vaults high into the air over the monster's head. He twists mid-air, drawing his real sword, and comes down with a single, perfect, lightning-fast strike right through the back of the monster's skull. It's a one-shot kill. The hellhound collapses to the ground, its flames extinguishing as it dies. The Duke and his knights are absolutely floored. His father, for the first time, looks genuinely proud. Impressive, Cyan, he says, clapping slowly. Cyan, meanwhile, is just staring at the massive corpse, thinking, it feels like a waste. This much blood could fill a few bottles. He's actually considering how to harvest it. As he's contemplating this, his demonic sword Kirim, in her little blob form, starts screaming in his ear. Master, do I look like a kitchen knife to you? Cyan is confused. No, of course not. You're a demonic sword. Why do you say that? Then use me, damn it. Kirim shrieks, drooling. I need blood to gain strength. Please, just let me have one gulp. Cyan just ignores her pathetic whining. His eyes glow red. Don't you worry, he thinks, a sinister smile playing on his lips. Because soon, I'm going to use you to my heart's content. This is Lemia Valley, the battlefront. And let me tell you, it is not a joke. A massive, 2-story tall ogre is roaring, its club raised high, ready to turn some poor knight into paste. A man in command, who we'll soon know as the Duke, Villiers, is screaming his head off. It's an ogre. Ogre in the northwest. Set up a line of defense and take it out right away. This guy is in full-on battle mode. Leave none alive. The troops are in a panic, but they're disciplined. A commander shouts for the restraint of salvation, and you see a whole line of paladins slam their spears into the ground. A massive, holy magic circle erupts, shining up into the blood-red sky. A horde of ogres and trolls charges right into it, and the barrier explodes in a flash of light, but it's not even close to enough to stop them. Villiers, now on horseback, draws his own sword and leads the charge. Attack! The whole scene is just a blur of steel, blood, and monster parts. Knights are getting smashed into the dirt, monsters are getting sliced in half, it's a total, brutal meat grinder. And then we cut to our boy, Cyan. He's on a pristine white horse, riding into this absolute hellscape, and he looks bored. He looks almost nostalgic. But the person with him is not having a good time. It's his maid, Emily, and she is absolutely losing her mind. She's screaming, tears and snot flying everywhere, just a total mess. Young master, why did you want to come to a place like this? Aren't you scared? Cyan just looks out at the carnage, at the dragons circling in the sky, and lets out a quiet sigh. To think I'd be back here. I feel nostalgic. It's just like hell as usual. This, of course, just makes Emily scream even louder. Villiers, the Duke, rides up to them, his armor already splattered with fresh monster blood. How does it feel to be in the front lines, Cyan? Cyan, who is now a master actor on top of being an assassin, puts on his scared 13-year-old mask. I'm a bit nervous. Villiers doesn't look like he's buying it for a second, but he gives the standard commander's speech anyway. As you can see, you will never know when you'll die in this place. So don't ever let your guard down. Cyan just smiles to himself. He knows this. He knows this place better than anyone here. In the front lines, situations like this are a dime a dozen. He thinks to himself, there are usually 3 to 4 battles a day, and every battle has its own detailed response manual. He knows the entire drill. The capable, high-level knights form the core, and they take care of all the monsters that try to cross the line. The grunts just clean up the mess. He's escorted to his new quarters. And, of course, the tent he's been assigned to is in the rearmost area of the camp, where it's the absolute safest. His father is still treating him like he's made of fragile glass. Cyan is annoyed. This is a problem. With the guards here being so disciplined, I won't even have a chance to feed Kiram. Remember Kiram? His psychopathic demonic sword that needs to feast on blood to get stronger. Do I really have to wait till dinner time? He walks into his tent and finds a shaking, terrified lump under a blanket. What are you doing, Emily? The blanket flies off, and Emily is there, her face a mask of pure, unfiltered terror. Didn't the Duke tell us that we won't know when and where we would die? Cyan is just done. He's a 37-year-old assassin's mind in a 13-year-old's body, and he has to babysit this. Ha! Unbelievable. Then why don't you pack up and return? This just makes Emily explode. Her head comically swells up as she screams right in his face. Do you think I can, when you can't even do anything without me? With the monsters all over the place, if I were to turn tail, who would take care of you, young master? And just like that, she storms off, all business. Move! It's almost time to eat. Cyan is just left there, completely baffled. Emily, what about the cape that I requested? She's already gone. He sighs. Should I just chase her away? Is this how she treats her master? Later that night, it's time for our boy to get to work. He puts his plan into action. He stuffs a dummy, complete with a crudely drawn-on face, into his bed. This should be enough, right? He's now dressed in a new, dark cloak that Emily got for him. Emily, who's in her own bed, sees him. Are you planning to go out to exercise, even in this place? Yeah, Cyan says, pulling up his hood. Did I wake you up? Emily just smiles, still half asleep. You sure are diligent. The Duke would be proud of you if he were to find out. Anyway, I'll get going, so please take care of things as usual, Cyan says, heading for the tent flap. He looks back with a serious face. I'm asleep right now. Got it? Okay, Emily mumbles, already falling back asleep. Cyan slips out of the tent and into the cold, dark night. He knows this is his only chance. Because this is the front line, night guard duties are usually strengthened. So, if I don't move at this time, moving around freely will be difficult. He melts into the shadows, his body enveloped in a dark, reddish fog. This is his assassin skill, a technique from Mist, thick fog third move, fog's descent. He becomes a literal shadow, flitting across the camp undetected. He's heading for the hunting grounds just outside the camp's perimeter. If I remember correctly, there should be tons of monsters in this place. We see a pack of massive, snarling, flaming hellhounds, and Cyan's eyes glow with a predatory light. It's the perfect place to use Kiram. Isn't that right, Kiram? His demonic sword materializes in his hand, pulsing with pure, unadulterated bloodlust. Kiram's voice echoes in his head, practically drooling. This strong scent of blood. Master, I don't think I can hold back. Quickly, let me cut something down. A hellhound roars, its eyes locking onto him, and it lunges. Cyan's face splits into a terrifying, ecstatic grin. Alright, Kiram, we'll do as you please. He becomes a crimson blur. Fog sword, rushing fog storm. He doesn't just kill them, he shreds them. He's a whirlwind of demonic energy and razor-sharp steel, slicing through the entire pack, limbs and heads flying everywhere. In a matter of seconds, the entire pack of high-level monsters is reduced to nothing but a pile of cooling corpses. Cyan stands in the middle of the carnage, his hood down. He calmly scoops some of the fresh, steaming monster blood into a wooden mug he brought, and he drinks it. He lets out a satisfied sigh, blood dripping from his lips. Cool. This is the stuff. It's my first time feeling so refreshed after waking up. This is way better than that low-grade, watered-down hellhound blood from the black market. This is the pure, high-octane stuff. He grins, his eyes glowing, his demonic sword pulsing happily in his hand. He's surrounded by the shadowy outlines of more monsters, drawn by the smell of the slaughter. Good. We'll keep training like this. Don't worry. The night is young, and there are plenty of monsters. He is thrilled. This isn't a battlefield. This is his new all-you-can-eat buffet. Meanwhile, in a completely different scene, a convoy of royal carriages is making its way through a dark forest. Inside one, a young attendant, a boy, is nervously looking out the window. I still think the front line is too dangerous. Why don't we turn back? Sitting across from him is a small girl with striking, pure white hair and piercing, ruby-red eyes. this is Princess Eren, and she is not impressed. I told you not to treat me like a child, she says, her voice as cold as ice. I'm the royal princess of the empire. How many times must I tell you that I'm bound by my duty to assist father in his tours? She glares at him. I really will get mad if you mention this again. The attendant immediately bows. Understood, princess. But then he perks up. Oh, that reminds me, there's news saying that the youngest son of the Vert family is on the front lines. He should be around the same age as you. This gets Eren's attention. That Duke Vert brought his youngest son. The attendant smiles, sharing the gossip. The Duke wasn't really going to bring him. The kid volunteered himself. You guys are about the same age, so you should try to get along. Eren just scoffs and turns her head, the very picture of a tsundere. Humph. Like I care about such a trivial thing. Forget it. I'm going to get some sleep. The attendant, knowing he's been dismissed, bows and leaves. The second the door closes, the princess's cold facade drops. She whispers to the empty room, "What's his name?" The attendant pokes his head back in. "Oh, it's, Cyan. I'm pretty sure he's called Cyan Vert." He closes the door again. Eren stares out the window into the darkness, the name echoing in her mind. Cyan. Cyan Vert. Huh. She's clearly intrigued. The very next morning, the Duke, Viljerth, is on patrol in the same area Cyan was training in. A soldier, his face pale, runs up to him holding a torch. "Your Grace, I think you need to see this." Viljerth walks over, and his blood runs cold. It's the corpse. A massive, 100-foot-long corpse of a death worm, one of the most dangerous and tanky beasts in the entire valley. And it's been shredded, sliced to ribbons, like it was put through a blender. Viljerth is sweating, his mind racing. Who could have slain a death worm like this? He knows of only one group in history capable of this kind of overkill. Could it have been that organization? He's talking about the legendary assassin group, Mist. Meanwhile, back in his tent, Cyan wakes up, and his entire body screams in protest. Ugh, my entire body is sore. He's back in his 13-year-old body, and the backlash from his little midnight rampage is hitting him hard. He overdid it. He'd used demonic sword manifestation, a technique that's basically a fusion, letting Kirim partially possess his body to use her true, OP powers. It's a massive trump card, but it's also a double-edged sword. But she can completely take me over if I let my guard down, he thinks, rubbing his aching muscles. He's literally playing with fire. Me using her to take down just one monster is actually insane. It's a good thing I drank all that demonic beast blood. If it had been a month ago, my entire body would have broken down. Kirim, his little demonic blob spirit, floats up to him, and she's not being playful anymore. She's been analyzing him. I get it now, she says, her voice serious and probing. It's just your outer appearance that's of a kid. You don't act or talk like 1 inch. She starts laying out the evidence like a prosecutor. 1. The level at which you handle me is too proficient for a first-timer. 2. You know the entire geography of the Lemia Valley. 2. 3. Your sword techniques, they're those of Mist. And it's as if you've trained for 30 years at least. Plus, she says, getting right in his face, you said you already died once. No. She looks him dead in the eye. You're a regressor, right? Busted. Cyan just shrugs, not even bothering to deny it. Doesn't it imply that if I say that I already died before? I thought I made it obvious enough. Kirim just explodes in a puff of pink smoke, her fangs bared. How is it obvious when you haven't explained shit? Cyan, in peak our boy fashion, just turns away, stretching his sore back. I'm too lazy for that. Kirim gets serious again, her voice turning demonic. Anyway, killing someone like you must have been hard. If I were to guess, she says, as an image of Askel with his holy sword flashes in Cyan's mind, you were killed by the owner of Duran Dark. There's 2 possibilities. You were either killed in a duel, or betrayed. And I feel it was definitely the latter. Why do you think that? Cyan asks, curious. Because, Kirim says, her fanged smile spreading wide, you look at the holy sword like you stepped in shit. I'd be an idiot if I couldn't tell from that. She's 100% right. So your goal must be revenge, she growls. Either way, it's good for me. But I'm warning you, if I catch you faltering or losing, I'm going to swallow you up. Cyan just grabs a pillow and smacks her right out of the air. Quack. Know your place. I'm not an idiot. She goes flying into a pile of books. He smiles. She's still the same as she was in his previous life. A loudmouth, but ultimately, his partner. Just then, he hears a commotion outside the tent. Emily runs in, out of breath and looking excited. "Young master, you're up." Apparently, a high-level monster's corpse was found near the entrance of the valley. Cyan's eyes narrow. Is she talking about the death worm? He has to play dumb. "Anything else?" he asks, his voice casual. Was there any talk of anything else? Like sightings of a suspicious person or... Before she can answer, the tent flap is thrown open. Young Master Cyan. It's Yulkin, his personal guard, his face like stone. Cyan is immediately annoyed. This is a pain. Because the soldiers suddenly appeared out of nowhere, my plan to enjoy a quiet life before entering the academy. Shit. He's brought to his father's command tent. He gives a formal, respectful greeting. The Duke is standing over a massive map of the valley. Yes, Cyan. Have a seat. Cyan is sweating bullets. His mind is racing a mile a minute. If he asks me about yesterday's incident, what kind of excuse can I even make? The Duke cuts straight to the chase. I'll be direct. What were you doing last night? Cyan, the 37-year-old assassin, gives the most basic, foolproof 13-year-old lie he can think of. I went to bed early as I was tired. The Duke's eyes narrow. He's not stupid. He's thinking, went to bed early. But those sword traces, they reminded me of Cyan's sword techniques. He flashes back to that duel with Krantz, the impossible skill. Was I overthinking it? He knows, logically, it's hard to believe, almost impossible, that a child could have slain a death worm all on his own. Cyan plays the part, his face a mask of pure innocence. Why do you ask? Is something bothering you, father? The Duke sighs, pushing his suspicions down. He decides to trust his son, or at least, decides there's no proof. I'm sure you've heard what happened near the camps last night. We'll have to look into it more, but, it seems like the doing of a secret assassin organization, Mist. Cyan has to fight to keep his face straight. His father is blaming Mist, the other assassin group. This is perfect. The Duke explains, Mist is an ancient organization, shadows that have existed since ancient times. They're infamous for leaving a black fog wherever they are. They worship Eru, the god of darkness, and that's the source of their power. They were last seen 300 years ago, but the corpse of the death worm from last night was shrouded in that exact same black fog. If my assumptions are correct, it was Mist that slayed the death worm and the other demonic beasts. Cyan can barely hold his composure. That's amazing. He thinks, he was able to precisely pinpoint who the culprit was. Even though the culprit was, him, using Mist techniques that his demonic sword taught him. The Duke looks at his son. It'd make no sense for Cyan to be involved with such an organization, especially when he's this young. He waves his hand. That's enough for this conversation. Were you told who's visiting today? Just then, a horn blows, echoing across the entire valley. Here come His Majesty, the Emperor. The Duke, Villiers, immediately moves outside and drops to one knee. I, the Lord of Velias, greet the Honorable Emperor, His Majesty. The Emperor, Dion Severus, rides up on a massive black warhorse. This guy is an absolute unit of a man, all white hair, bulging muscles, and pure, unfiltered authority. He swings off his horse and claps his old friend on the shoulder. Villiers, we're old friends. Don't be so polite. His gaze then falls on Cyan. Oh, is it that child? Cyan immediately drops to one knee. I greet the Honorable Emperor, His Majesty. The Emperor is impressed. For a boy this young to be residing in such a rough environment. Your children are definitely different from the ordinary ones, Villiers. Cyan is internally sweating. I was wondering what the favor was gonna be, but he just wanted me to appeal myself as his son. He remembers his past life, how he was always cooped up in the mansion, hidden away like a dirty secret, when the Emperor visited. I'm so deeply touched by father's trust. The Emperor smiles. Splendid. I wanted to introduce someone as well. A carriage door opens, and a small girl with striking, pure white hair and piercing, ruby-red eyes steps out. Her face is a mask of cold indifference. I'm the 5th princess of the Ushaf Empire, Aaron Severus. Cyan recognizes her immediately. His mind flashes back to his past life. Aaron Severus, the tragic 5th princess. Later, back in the command tent, the Duke leans in and tells Cyan the real reason for this whole meeting. You'll need to escort Princess Aaron for the day. Cyan is floored. Sorry. How? His father explains, gesturing to the massive map of the continent. No need to be so surprised. You just need to keep her company. You're the same age as her. You'll see her once you enter the academy too. There's no harm in becoming acquainted with someone of the royal family. Cyan gets it instantly. This isn't a request. It's politics. His father is trying to forge an alliance, to make Cyan a friend of the royals, just like he is with the emperor. Cyan is already over it. I don't really want to do it, he thinks, but he's picked the wrong person for it. She cannot become my friend. He knows her tragic future, the one where she's framed and exiled. But I can't say that, since that's a future only I know of. It's annoying, but I'll have to be obedient for now. So, our boy is stuck on an escort date with the Ice Princess. They're walking along the edge of the infamous Blood River. Eren, looking disgusted, asks, "Why is that river so red?" "Ah, you mean the Blood River?" Cyan says casually, like he's discussing the weather. He explains that there's no complex reason. The old, injured, and weak demonic beasts instinctively jump into the river to die. Their corpses and bodily fluids melt into the water, and the sheer concentration of demonic mana turns the entire river red. The princess's face goes pale. So that's all demonic beasts' bodily fluids and corpses. Cyan nods, a tiny, evil smirk on his face. Yes, they also drink and wash in it. It's very disgusting. Don't go in it. She's horrified. Gross. What's at the end of the river? The demon realm, Cyan says simply. Where the demons live. If you keep following this river, you'll even meet the demon king. He's totally messing with her, and he knows it. Although no sane person would do that. It's amusing to make fun of her. Suddenly, a bright yellow light flashes in the sky from a distant sentry post. Cyan's face hardens instantly. The fun is over. That's the third sentry post in the west. A yellow light. It signifies incoming demonic beasts. Eren freaks out. There are demonic beasts here. The Duke's voice roars across the camp, "Protect His Majesty." But the Emperor, that absolute Chad, just draws his sword, looking bored. Don't be like that, Villiers. You think I'm here to go on a hike? I've been getting really bored, anyway. This guy is a total battle junkie. The Duke just sighs. Alright, Your Majesty. We will join in the demonic beast raid. Focus on killing the beasts until the raid is over. He then turns his gaze to Cyan. You join too, Cyan. Eren is completely shocked. You can fight the demonic beasts. Cyan tells her he can just support from the back, and that she needs to get to the shelter. This triggers her royal pride. Take me with you. Cyan is just, what? What the hell is this kid saying? She stomps her foot. You said you're the same age as me. Then I can come too. Cyan's patience, which was already paper thin, snaps. People die here. It's not a playground. I don't care. I'm going, and no one can stop me. Cyan is so done. He doesn't have time for this. He just screams, Yulkin. The guard appears instantly, his shadow covering them. Yes, young master. Yulkin, you will substitute the royal knights and escort her highness to safety in the camps. Yulkin doesn't even hesitate. He just walks over, grabs the princess, and slings her over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. She's furious, kicking and screaming. How dare you treat me, a princess, in such a manner dash. Cyan gets right in her face, his eyes glowing with that cold, red, assassin's light. That 37-year-old killer is looking right at her. Dozens of knights might die because of your stubbornness. A split-second decision can decide your fate of either dying or surviving in a war. Can you take responsibility for all those lives? He leans in closer. Go back if you're gonna cry like a child, your highness. Eren is completely stunned into silence. Her eyes are wide, she's trembling. She just got put in her place by a 13-year-old. Yulkin carries her away as Cyan turns to face the incoming horde. The battle is on. Knights are shouting, monsters are roaring. The Duke is in the thick of it. Get back into formation. Protect His Majesty and slay all the monsters. The Emperor and the Duke are tearing through monsters like they're made of paper. We cut to Cyan, who's in the middle of all this, and we get a quick history lesson on Eren. The Emperor Dion had 2 wives. The first wife, Diana, is dead, but she had the first and second princess. The current empress, Cassandra, had the third and fourth prince. This is the political powder keg. Eren Severus, the 5th princess, is a bastardized daughter, born to some peasant mistress. Because of this, people treated her like a scarecrow, a princess, in name only, a stain of mixed blood. But she didn't care. She fulfilled her duty, she devoted herself to her studies more than anyone. But in Cyan's first life, it was all for nothing. She was framed for treason by those who resented her, probably the second empress's faction, and she was kicked out of the royal family and the empire. The rumor was that she died alone from a disease on an island. Because of that, she was known as the tragic princess. Cyan thinks to himself, she could have lived a happy life had she not been greedy. It would have been better for her to live without any ambition. Kiram, his demonic sword, pops up in his head, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Isn't that what your father always told you in your past life? Cyan just parries a monster's attack. It's different. Back on the battlefield, the Emperor is a one-man army. He's just calling down holy lightning, turning monsters into dust. Emperor Dion is known to the public for being 8-star in magic rank, Cyan thinks, watching the light show. I'm sure an intermediate rank demonic beast is no problem for him. Later that night, the battle is over. The Duke and the Emperor are in the command tent, sharing a drink, or at least, the Emperor is. The Duke, ever the stoic soldier, refuses. I'm sorry, I do not allow myself to drink on the front lines. The Emperor sighs and gets down to business. Anyway, I was reminded when you asked me about the current atmosphere in the Empire. There has been a recent spike in assassinations of nobles. The map on the table is covered in black ink blots, showing the kill zones. It's causing a lot of anxiety. The Duke's face darkens. Are there any patterns to these assassinations? Yes, the Emperor says, his voice grave. Black fog was present at all of the murder scenes. The Duke's hand tightens. I did find traces of them here yesterday. It seems the Black Fog followers, Mist, are on the move again. The Emperor nods. It makes sense. But there's something else that concerns me. Some damn noble is blabbering that this is the 5th princess's fault. The Duke leaps to his feet. What? Are people trying to tie Princess Erin to those incidents? I've been suppressing them by shrugging it off as nonsense, the Emperor says, his eyes dark. But it seems like there is a group that wants to use her. He's talking about the second Empress's sons, the ones who stand to gain if Aaron is out of the picture. He leans in, his voice dropping. Let me ask you for a favor as a friend, and not as an emperor. If I end up dying before you, please take care of that child. The Duke looks at his friend, his king, and nods, his face set in stone. Meanwhile, Cyan returns to his tent. Emily is waiting for him. That's all. Cyan is confused. What more did you expect? Emily just throws her hands up. She's the princess. You just ended the escort there. You're never gonna get married at this rate. Cyan just explodes. I wasn't going on a date. He's about to head back out for his real training, grabbing his cloak. Anyway, I'll trust you to take care of things while I'm gone. Emily is worried. Are you going training again? It's raining so hard. Don't worry about it. Don't stay up waiting for me either. But as he turns to leave, a small, hooded figure is standing right in his tent flap. Emily yelps, "Who are you?" "It's Princess Erin." "Where were you gonna go?" she asks, her voice small. "Sorry, but can we talk if you're not busy?" Emily is instantly starstruck. Hearts in her eyes. "Why, your highness?" Cyan, seeing the rain and the guards outside, just sighs. He's trapped. He turns to his maid. "Can you excuse us for a bit? You keep staring." Emily gets the completely wrong idea and wiggles her eyebrows. "Alright, have a good time together." She closes the tent flap, leaving them alone. Cyan is just so tired. A good time with a 10-year-old? No, I'm 40. Erin is blushing, her hands clasped. I feel like I didn't act as a princess should." "You don't need to worry about that. I apologize for being rude." She's genuinely trying. "You're acknowledged by a lot of people, unlike me, and you're a lot more mature." Cyan just looks at her, his assassin's mind analyzing. So that's the kind of personality she has. She smiles, trying to find common ground. "Right, you're entering the academy too, right? I'm sorry." Cyan cuts her off, his voice flat, his eyes glowing red in the dim light. "But I don't plan on making friends. If you're here to make friends, please leave." This just crushes her. Her face falls, and her eyes well up with tears. "You're harsh. Do you also think that I'm just a shell of a princess?" She turns to leave, her voice quiet. "I understand. I guess there's no benefit in being friends with me. Sorry for wasting your time." As she walks away, she mutters, "I guess I was short-sighted. I thought maybe we could at least talk. But you're completely different from Sir Askel." That name, Askel, it's a trigger. Cyan's eyes flash pure red. What did she just say? He moves in a blur, grabbing her by the wrist, his grip like iron. She yelps, terrified. Askel. No, Cyan growls, his voice low and dangerous. How do you know my brother? She's terrified but defiant. I got to know him when I was touring the Royal Academy last year. Cyan's mind flashes to an image of his brother, Askel, smiling that fake, noble smile, his hands pulling puppet strings. Advised, he thinks, as if. I know that demonic bastard's personality better than anyone. It already began as soon as she met him. He knows. He knows Askel is using her, setting her up to be the tragic princess, the scapegoat. Before he can say anything else, a voice shrieks from outside. Young master, you have to run. An explosion rips his tent to shreds. A massive, hulking troll is standing right outside, its eyes glowing red. The entire camp is in chaos. Knights are shouting. Damn it, that's the young master's tent. Hurry, check if the young master is okay. Emily is on the ground, screaming for him. This is it. The ambush. And it's not just trolls. Cyan sees death worms and ogres, too. This is bad. This shouldn't happen. Death worms and ogres, they should only reside in the deeper regions of the valley. He looks at Aaron and Emily, who are both trembling. But for them to be here in the rear camps, something must have changed. Is it because of me? Emily tackles him in a hug, sobbing hysterically. Young master, I thought you were really dead. I'll never leave your side again. Cyan, the cold-blooded assassin, just stands there, completely annoyed. Back in my day, I even killed the Demon King. As if I'd die to a mere troll. The royal knights, Aaron's guards, are trying to reassure her. Don't worry, your highness. The knights are really strong. We're okay, your highness. It's a given that we would protect you as the knights of the empire. One of them even grins. We'll protect you with our lives. Cyan's assassin senses scream. Move. He shoves the knight, just as a giant troll fist smashes down, turning the knight into a red paste on the ground. Get back. Cyan roars, drawing his sword. He knows it. The troll's red eyes are locked right on him. I knew it. It's me that it wants. He looks at Emily. I'll distract the troll, so get away with the princess. Okay. Emily, for once, doesn't argue. She just grabs Aaron and bolts. Cyan faces the horde of monsters. Why are all the advanced rank demonic beasts all attracted to me? Kiram pops up, cackling maniacally in his head. You drank the blood of countless demonic beasts in order to become strong. And that's why you reek of them. It'd be weird if they didn't come for you. Cyan is furious. What? You knew about this? Why are you telling me now? Kiram just gives a fanged grin. Did you forget? Cyan is so mad he could spit. He grabs her little blob form. Quack. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care how many monsters come at me. He leaps into the fray, a 13-year-old psycho ready to paint the camp red. Now that no one's watching, let's go sip on some advanced rank demonic beast blood. Oh, it's gonna be a feast. But as he's about to start his massacre, a massive shadow falls over him. Wait, it's a dragon. A massive, purple-scaled devil dragon, roaring down from the sky. Kiram's voice pops up again. No, it's still a baby. I guess he also smelled you. Cyan's face splits into a manic, bloodthirsty grin. It doesn't matter why the dragon is here. Demonic sword manifest. Kiram starts to say, you have to catch that drag dash. Shut up and let me borrow your strength. We cut back to the main camp. The Duke and the Emperor are standing over the massive dead troll that Cyan and Kiram shredded. The Emperor asks, is this the last one, Vilyrth? Vilyrth reports in, his face grim. I can't find their traces past the tent. I'm sorry. The Emperor puts a hand on his shoulder. It's fine. I'm sure you're worried about your son too. This is where the Duke says his ice-cold, brutal line. There's no need to worry about him. What matters right now is the princess. The Emperor is appalled. That's cold. Is he really your son? Avert, the Duke says, his voice flat, should watch out for himself. Just then, a knight runs up. Your Majesty. We found Her Highness. They rush over. Aaron is hysterical. Aaron, are you hurt? She's crying, grabbing his robes, her face stained with tears. Hurry. We need to save him. Save who? Cyan. Because of me, he's. The Duke turns to Emily, who's trembling nearby. His calm facade shatters. His eyes glow with a terrifying yellow light, and the pressure in the air drops. You're Cyan's maid, are you not? He growls. You tell me, has something happened to Cyan? Emily is terrified. I'm scared. I've never seen the Duke look so scary before. She blurts out the whole story. In order to give us time to run away. I remember where he was last. If you just give me an order, I will go with others to save the young master. The Emperor is screaming, what are you waiting for, Vilyrth? Hurry, go find him. But the Duke just stands there, his back to them, his cape fluttering in the wind. We are not doing that. Everyone is shocked. Eren and the Emperor can't believe what they're hearing. Villiers, are you serious? The Duke's voice is cold, logical, and absolutely brutal. We must take care of this situation first. If these camps fall, the demonic beasts will invade the Empire. We must reconstruct the place right away. That is the only way to prevent more deaths. Emily is horrified. And what about the young master? He's your son. The Duke doesn't even turn around. He's done his duty by helping the princess evacuate. That is what it's like to be a Vert. He's abandoning him. He's sacrificing his son, just like Askel did. This is the Vert way. Eren just collapses to her knees. Why? Why? But just as the Duke is about to give the order to rebuild, a massive roaring sound rips through the air. Everyone looks up. A massive, winged, purple-scaled dragon is silhouetted against the blood-red moon. Eren squints, her eyes widening in disbelief. That's the devil dragon from the ambush. But, there's someone on it. The dragon lands with a ground-shaking thud, and a small figure in a black cloak hops off its back. Eren's jaw drops. Cyan. It is him. He lands, brushing the dust off his cloak, looking completely fine, if a little annoyed. He just tamed a baby devil dragon and rode it back to camp like it was a taxi. The look on his father's and the Emperor's faces is absolutely priceless. They're not just big lizards, they're the creatures closest to the Creator, noble and rare. Inferior beings like humans don't even dare approach them. So, you can imagine the absolute shock on everyone's faces. Princess Eren is the first to scream. The Emperor is just floored. Unbelievable. A dragon. Though, Villiers, he says, turning to the Duke, why is your son on top of the dragon? He's practically screaming, what are you doing? Aren't you going to save him? The Duke, Villiers, just stands there, sweating, completely silent. He has no idea what to do. Cyan, meanwhile, is just clinging to the dragon's back, his mind racing. Damn it, he thinks, all I wanted to do was drink his blood. I didn't expect this to happen. Let's rewind a bit to see how our boy got into this mess. He was in the middle of the battle, surrounded by monsters, when this devil dragon, a baby one, showed up, drawn to the scent of all the blood Cyan's been drinking. He'd just activated his demonic sword manifestation, letting Kirim take over. Kirim, now in control, is ecstatic. She roars, screw off, you mongrels. I don't have time to waste. She unleashes the rushing fog storm, and just shreds the horde of trolls and ogres in a whirlwind of red and black, clearing a path. She lands in front of the baby dragon. He's definitely not a fully grown dragon. The size speaks for itself. The dragon, not impressed, blasts her with a massive purple beam of energy. Kirim is sent flying. She's pissed. You dare spit in my face on our first meeting? Well, you can take my sword to the face then. She hurls the demonic sword, and it slices right into the dragon's neck, drawing blood. The dragon roars in pain and tries to fly away, but Kirim is relentless. I can't let you go. Stop right there. She launches herself into the air, using, swordless, 8 fluttering petals, an attack so fast it looks like she's teleporting, and she just pummels the dragon in midair. But the dragon's scales are too tough. Phew. I guess I can't take on a dragon just yet. My shoulders are sore, she groans, her manifestation flickering. The dragon uses the opening to fly up high and dive straight down, trying to crush her. Kirim tries to dodge, but she's not fast enough. I won't fall for the same trick twice. And that's when Cyan's real consciousness kicks back in. Kirim is screaming, that lizard. He's running away. But Cyan isn't looking at the dragon. He's looking at the ground. At his father, Villiers, his holy sword drawn and glowing with a terrifying, golden 8-star magic. That's advanced 8-star magic. Cyan thinks, his blood running cold. He's going to use the secret sword of the heavens. A storm of holy swords rains down from the sky. This isn't a precision attack. This is an obliterate the entire area attack. He's really living up to his title as the continent's guardian, father. Cyan thinks, panicking, knowing that his son will get swept up into it too. The baby dragon is fast. It weaves through the storm of holy swords. Oh, that's right. Good dragon. Cyan cheers, but his relief lasts for about 2 seconds. Keep avoiding it like one of the holy swords clips him, sending him flying off the dragon's back. He's in freefall. Damn it. I can't believe I missed the opportunity for such a special meal, he thinks, his assassin mind still pissed about the blood. Kirim is screaming in his head. What are you doing? Fly. Are you going to kiss the ground? No. If I use a mist skill, I'll be burned at the stake, he yells back. Are you just gonna let yourself die then? I don't know, maybe I'll even stop thinking. He's falling, the ground rushing up to meet him, but then he sees it. Wait, I think there's a way. He twists his body in midair, aiming for the one thing that can break his fall. Kiram is horrified. Master, you're not gonna fall in that shit-infested water. What other choice do I have? He hits the blood river with a massive, disgusting splash. He wakes up later, coughing and gagging on the bank of the river. Fuck my life. He's soaked head to toe in monster guts and blood. Kiram, you alive? Kiram appears, fuming. I'm trying to decide how I should kill you right now. But as Cyan gets his bearings, he realizes something is very, very wrong. This isn't Lemia Valley. The sky is a dark, swirling purple. Get it together, Kiram says, this is the demon realm. Cyan knew it. That river wasn't just a monster graveyard, it was a portal. I knew it. I knew something fun would be waiting for me here. And just as he says that, he hears a voice. A voice that is so deeply embedded in his brain, he could never forget it. Are you a human? Cyan looks up. Standing on a cliff above him is a figure with large, demonic wings, white hair, and piercing red eyes. You, the Demon King, Valkyrion. In his past life, Valkyrion was the final boss. The ultimate evil, a being of such monstrous power that just looking at him felt like staring into the embodiment of evil. And that's what's standing in front of him right now. Damn it, why now? Valkyrion looks down at him. I asked if you're human. Aren't you going to answer me? He smirks. Do you want to fight me, kid? Cyan is trembling. This is the Demon King. He grips Kiram, his body tensing for a fight he knows he can't win. He lunges, pouring all his strength into one desperate strike. And Valkyrion just dodges it. Effortlessly. The attack, a blast of pink energy, just grazes his hair. The Demon King lands, a huge, sunny smile on his face. Kohaha. I did hear you're a kid with infinite potential. You dared to cut my hair. It might be true. Cyan is just baffled. Seems like the wrong time, but who is that? This isn't the Demon King he remembers. That guy was a monster of pure, unbridled rage. This guy is a himbo. Kiram is screaming in his head. The Demon King. How the hell are you going to defeat him in the state you are in right now? It's impossible. I can only try running away. But could I survive against Valkyrion? Hey, relax. Valkyrion says, waving his hands. What am I gonna do against a little kid like you? You can calm down. He actually lies down on the ground, striking a relaxed pose. Look, I'm really not going to do anything to you. We can talk with me lying down if you're so scared. Even if I'm an asshole, I won't fight kids. Cyan is completely bewildered. What? Why is he suddenly lying down? This is the Demon King. Let me ask again, Valkyrion says, grinning from the floor. Are you human? Yes, Cyan says, still on guard. How did you get here? First time in the demon realm. A normal human. Cyan bluffs. Valkyrion just stares at him. A normal human. But it feels like you know me. We've never met before, Cyan lies. That relaxed manner. Why are you here? Valkyrion asks. I felt a strange energy while making my rounds, Valkyrion says, chilling on his back. Making your rounds? Cyan asks. Yes, as the Demon King, it's a given that I would watch over the lands I rule. He suddenly sits up, blushing. Kid, what did I just say? Cyan, deadpan, repeats, that it's a given for you to watch over the lands you rule as the Demon King. Valkyrion explodes. Aren't you shocked? I knew it. You do know me from somewhere. What kind of kid in the world would react like you did? Has your MOM never threatened you by saying the Demon King will take you away if you're not a good boy? Cyan just facepalms. This is the Demon King. There's no way he's the same Demon King. He thinks. His mind is racing. If things go like in my past life, the demon's invasion should start soon. But this guy doesn't seem like someone who would do that. The Valkyrion he fought was a monster of pure rage, wrapped in chains of divine power. This guy is a goofy, lovable idiot. If this is his true self, then what triggered him to change? This is it. This is the moment. Demon King, Cyan says, do you want to make a deal? Something will happen to you soon. Something that threatens the people you rule over. Valkyrion sits up. What are you talking about? You're not making any sense. I don't know exactly what the incident is, Cyan says, but I am certain that that incident will trigger a great war between the humans and the demons. Valkyrion's eyes narrow. You mean I'm going to want to take your lands? That's why I want to negotiate with you, Cyan says, his voice steady. Promise me that you won't start a war, no matter what happens. Valkyrion just laughs. Ha, you're making no sense. Oh well. Alright, let's say that I don't start a war. What are you going to give me in return? Cyan meets his gaze. I'll help you. No matter what happens to you, I'll do my best to help you. Valkyrion stands up and looks down at him, his goofy smile gone. You know something. He grins. Your name? Cyan Vert. Alright, Cyan Vert, Valkyrion says, his wings spreading wide. I promise you, as the owner of the demon realm, that I will not invade your land no matter what happens. But you better take responsibility for your own promise too. A deal is a deal, after all. He just flies away. Alright, that completes it. Cyan is left alone. I did it. I made a deal with the Demon King. Just then, a search party of knights finds him. Over there. It's a miracle. Young Master Cyan. He's rescued, and he immediately earns a badass new nickname. The boy who survived the devil dragon. He's taken to a military hospital in an abbey to recover. He wakes up, his body aching, to see Princess Erin sitting at his bedside. Sorry, he asks, confused. Let me repeat myself, she says, her face bright red. I thought things were resolved smoothly. Will you be mine? Cyan just stares at her with the most blank, dead inside expression. What the hell is she saying? He gives her a one-word answer. Nah. Ah, the princess is just shattered. She's trembling, blushing, completely humiliated. Oh, of course. I'm an impotent princess. Cyan is just getting annoyed. She's really getting on my nerves. Well, I knew that she was impotent, but her attitude makes her even worse. He knows this is all a setup by his brother, Askel. He cuts her off again. You're right. You can't bring any benefit to me, or anyone, for that matter. You don't have any influence or even any etiquette. It would actually be bad for me if I were to be close to you. He is just brutally honest. But then, he throws her a lifeline. However, he says, his eyes sharp, I'll watch you, until you've developed into a fine woman. She's confused. Watch me. No, I get what you mean, she says, suddenly getting flustered and covering a yawn. I just have to improve enough so that you'll acknowledge me. She leaps to her feet, her red eyes sparkling, and points right at him. Just wait and see. I don't know when, but I'm going to become so powerful you won't be able to ignore me. Cyan just gives her a lazy, half-lidded look. I'm looking forward to it. She cheered up real fast. She's a kid, after all. As she's leaving, she stops at the door. Ah, one more thing. She turns, her face bright red, and gives him a genuine, shining smile. Thanks, for being alive. Really. And she runs off. Cyan is just left there, stunned. A few days later, we see two men in thick fur cloaks, trekking through a snowy forest. Ho, not much left now. One of them cackles, holding a glowing magical cube. This is Renaud Crimson, a 7-star mage knight. Suddenly, he stops. My body won't move. He's frozen in place, as if by invisible chains. A figure in a black cloak, his face masked, steps out of the shadows. It's Cyan. A small dimension box. He thinks, that's an artifact imbued with dimensional realm and mana to allow infinite storage. I've been keeping an eye on it for a whole year. Renaud is panicking. Why you're Cyan Vert? Cyan just kicks him down. I assume you extracted the blood of demonic beast corpses, Cyan says, his voice cold, and brought them over in supply carriages that are allowed over the border. He holds up a fresh claw. It's fresh. I assume there's a spy helping you in the supply department, too. Renaud is terrified. What are you talking about? I don't know anything about that. You don't need to play dumb, Cyan says. Their blood is already being sold on the black market. I assume Alice was able to get the Hellhound blood through him, too. He looks at the man. Who betrayed us then? Either way, I can't let him leave. Renaud, seeing he's trapped, makes a last-ditch move. He summons a fire magic circle. I don't know how he captured me, but I can move a bit now. Die. Breath fire. A massive explosion of fire erupts, engulfing Cyan. Renaud is breathing heavily. Shit. I thought I was dead. So the rumors about him were true. But as the smoke clears, Cyan is nowhere. Renaud is confused. Ha! I lost the precious dimension box. He screams as his hand is suddenly severed at the wrist by a blur of black and red. Cyan is standing behind him, his cloak swirling with that familiar black fog. What's this black fog? Renaud screams. See, could it be Ms. Dash? Before he can finish, Cyan is on him, an icy grip on his face. Choose, Cyan whispers, his eyes glowing red. Tell me about the smuggling route and the spy and then die a comfortable death, or suffer a death so tragic that even Satan would pray for you. We cut to the Velia's western border trading post. 2 smugglers are opening a crate. 2 boxes this time. We'll be able to take a bit more. One of them opens the box, and screams. Inside, wrapped in demonic energy, is the severed, screaming head of Sir Renaud. High on a cliff overlooking the post, Cyan stands, his cloak billowing. Kiram floats next to him. Are you not gonna do anything about those guys? Yeah, Cyan says. I assume the warning was enough. He knows the whole story. Renaud Crimson, a 7-star mage knight, has been smuggling beast blood to the Garum Kingdom's Mage Association. This is an organization of mages obsessed with creating new magic, aspiring to surpass the limits of humanity. In the future, they do all kinds of insane stuff with this demonic blood. I need to put a stop to it now. Kiram is annoyed. Are you changing class from assassin to problem solver? I thought you were gonna live for yourself. Isn't this a really selfless thing to do? Cyan's face hardens. I just don't want any more people using the demonic beast blood. We cut to a residence back in the Ushif Empire. We see Askell, our boy's murderous brother, shirtless, his back to a woman in a towel. He's reading a letter. Cyan Vert went to the front lines with father. The woman, his lover, asks, Cyan Vert, "Ah, that half-brother of yours?" Askell smiles, his holy blue eyes glowing with a sinister light. Yes, he's been getting on my nerves. I'll have to go see him. Finally, the day has come. Cyan is leaving the front lines. Emily is in the carriage, practically vibrating with excitement. Finally, we're out of the front lines. I'm so excited. I bet the academy will be incomparable to this gloomy place. Cyan just leans back, a dark smile on his face. Yes, it's the beginning of hell for me. He knows the truth. The academy isn't some happy school. It's a snake pit, a place rife with politics and schemes, where envy and jealousy rule, and networking is prioritized over education. Emily, of course, is oblivious. I heard there are lots of handsome instructors. I'm so excited. Is romance finally coming into my life? Cyan just looks at her. Is she really coming to the academy for me? He arrives at the academy gates. He steps out of the carriage, and immediately hears a gasp. CCCCN. It's Krantz, his pathetic, sniveling half-brother. The second he and Cyan make eye contact, Krantz screams, turns, and bolts as fast as his legs can carry him. Kiram just says, "Who's that idiot?" Krantz. "My half-brother. Don't mind him. I feel like you're the opposite of your family members," Kiram muses. "Not really," Cyan sighs, "I'm not that far off from Alice. The real opposite is someone else." He walks into the academy, but the butlers and servants are bowing to him. "Welcome back, young Master Cyan." Cyan is confused. He never even glanced at me before, but now he's being all polite. A lot has changed over the past year. I guess it's the reward for my hard work. He heads to his new room. He reaches for the doorknob, and freezes. His eyes narrow. His blood runs cold. I recognize this aura. It's faint, but it's there. The aura that makes me shudder. He knows exactly who's behind that door. Yes, beyond this door is that bastard. He opens the door, and there he is, standing by the window, bathed in sunlight, looking like the perfect, charming hero. His older brother, Askell Vert. It's been a while, Cyan. Cyan's vision floods with red. The rage, the hatred, the memory of the betrayal, it all comes rushing back. His hand instinctively goes to his demonic sword. Calm down, he thinks, his body trembling, as if I can calm down right now. I'm going to kill Dash. Just as he's about to lunge, Kiram's hand, her spirit hand, grabs his wrist, stopping him. "Get it together if you don't want to die," her voice cuts through his rage. "There's no fun in killing him right now." Cyan stops, his eyes wide. He forces the killing intent down. He closes his eyes, takes a breath, and puts his mask back on. When he opens them, he's just a 13-year-old kid again. He gives a perfect, formal bow. "I greet my older brother." Askell acts surprised. "So you do remember me?" "How could I forget my own older brother's face?" Askell smiles that fake, charming smile. "That makes me happy." And then, in a move of pure, unadulterated audacity, he reaches out and pats Cyan on the head. "I was worried that you would have forgotten me. I'm glad you haven't." Cyan is dying inside. He's letting his own murderer pat him on the head. "I heard that your swordsmanship has improved," Askell continues, his back to Cyan. "You'll soon be able to help the Verdef know." He stops himself. "Me on the battlefield." Cyan's eyes flash red with pure, undiluted hatred. But he just smiles. "Yes, I, too, am looking forward to that very much. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife." Askel's smile doesn't waver, but his eyes are cold. I'm glad. I came here just to see you today. He walks out. Cyan just stands there, his mind reeling. He's the kind of guy to not even spare a glance at those he deems useless. Knowing that he's here for a reason is helping me calm down, weirdly enough. He actually smiles. A real smile. I missed you too. He missed the target of his revenge. Just then, Emily bursts in, huffing and puffing as she drags two massive suitcases. Ugh. He doesn't even have any baggage. Couldn't he have helped me? Ugh, I'm wiped. She sees Cyan. Young master. How could you? First young master. She sees Askel leaving down the hall and immediately freaks out, bowing. Oh, yes, young master. Once Askel's gone, she turns on Cyan. Pooh, I was so nervous. Young master, you should have told me in advance the first young master was here. Cyan, his good mood completely gone, just snaps. His eyes glow red. Emily, can you leave me alone for a bit? But dash, don't make me repeat myself. Emily sees his face and shrinks. Young master. She wisely runs out of the room. The second the door closes, Cyan bolts to the bathroom and just throws up, his body overcome with pure, physical disgust. He's gasping, his hands on the toilet. Kiram is livid. Why did you stop me? She shrieks. Shouldn't you be thanking me? It was a good chance for you to take over my body as well. Cyan just wipes his mouth. He knows her game. Don't be mistaken. Kiram screams, I just want your rage to grow. That way, you'll be more delicious. Cyan just grins. A dark, terrifying grin. Alright, now that's like you. The game is back on. We cut to Askel's room. He's sitting by the window as an aide reports in. I've tracked down the second young lady as you ordered. She's in the north, in the territory of the White Elves, Furuina. Askel's eyes narrow. Furuina. They're known for abhorring outsiders. She sure is skilled with others. He closes his book. Let me know if it looks like she's going to come back. The aide nods. Yes, young master. Did something good happen? You seem much brighter than usual. Was the meeting with your younger brother amusing? Askel's smile vanishes. His eyes glow with that cold, sinister blue. Ha ha ha, amusing. I guess you could put it that way. But you're wrong. I'm in a terrible mood right now. The aide immediately apologizes, terrified. Askel stares out the window, his mind flashing back to Cyan's eyes. Not the eyes of a child, but the eyes of a killer. Those eyes. It's as if he was looking at his lifelong nemesis. Is it my misunderstanding? He clenches his fist. He gets on my nerves. I'll have to keep an eye on him. He looks at his aide. What are you hiding? The board is set. The pieces are moving. We cut to Cyan, finally leaving for the academy, his carriage surrounded by 6 intermediate class knights. Emily is on the steps, waving and crying. Don't feel down even if you get bullied. Take care of yourself. Cyan smiles, remembering when he was 8, sick with a fever, and she was the only one who cared, carrying him on her back through the rain to a doctor. She's someone who I value, he thinks, more than a maid. As the carriage pulls away, he looks at his heavy guard detail. 6 whole knights, just to escort one person. Seems like shit's gonna go down before I even get to the academy. And sure enough, that night, they're ambushed. Young master, I think we should camp here for tonight, one of the knights says. Cyan, a 37-year-old assassin, isn't stupid. Yeah, where are we? In the central city, Saffron. Yes, we'll probably arrive tomorrow morning. Cyan's eyes narrow. Liar. There isn't a forest like this near Saffron. We're out in the middle of nowhere. It's obvious what they're trying to do. He steps out of the carriage. The air's really refreshing. Alright, who's behind this? The knights look at each other, and one of them, the leader, just grins. You don't need to know. You're going to die soon anyway. Another knight draws his sword. It's a shame that it's come to this. There are no personal feelings, though. I'll be nice enough to make it as painless as possible. You just need to stand there with your eyes closed. He charges, then, goodbye. Cyan doesn't even move. He just sidesteps. The knight's head goes flying off his shoulders in a spray of blood. The other knights are frozen in terror. Cyan is standing there, holding Kiram, its demonic blade pulsing. I asked, who the fuck is behind this? The remaining knights are terrified. They've heard the rumors about Cyan. One of them, a mage named Renaud, a different Renaud, tries to bluff. This mission was doomed from the start. He's trying to buy time, but he's sweating. Is this really an 11-year-old? Cyan is just on him. He uses Kiram's shadow binding ability, Fog's Descent, holding the men in place. did you not expect this to happen? He blitzes them. One of the knights, a young guy named Gideon, just watches in horror as Cyan cuts down his comrades one by one. In seconds, Gideon is the only one left, on his knees, crying. Cyan puts the tip of his demonic sword to Gideon's throat. You, tell me everything. Gideon just breaks, blubbering. Margaret was behind this. Cyan sighs. That was way too easy. He knows that's not the whole truth. It was Krantz. After his humiliation, Krantz went crying to his mommy, the Duchess, who arranged this little favor. It was Krantz. All he could do when he saw me was book it. I'll teach him a good lesson when I see him again. He looks at the last surviving assassin, Gideon, who's now just sitting in the carriage, completely broken. Young master, what's going to happen to me now? Are you going to kill me? Cyan just looks at him. You don't look that sad about it. We were the ones that tried to kill you first, Gideon says, his voice dead. I have no right to resent you if you kill me. Cyan sits on top of the carriage. Just drive then. There's a difference between being useless and having no value in being alive. You're good at driving the carriage. Gideon just gasps, tears in his eyes. He's been spared. Thank you, young master. We're here, Cyan says, as they pull up to a massive, shining castle on a hill. Central City, Saffron. But while Cyan and his new, traumatized driver are rolling into the city, his actions are already sending shockwaves back home. We cut to the Vert Duchy, to the chambers of the Duchess Margaret, Cyan's wicked stepmother. And she is livid. She's in her room, and her personal aide is on his knees, sweating bullets. One is missing, and the other 6, they were all found dead. The Duchess explodes. We underestimated the young master. How can you fail at getting rid of some little child? Her aide, knowing his life is on the line, scrambles. I think there must be someone behind the scenes that we don't know of. If you'd just give me one more chance, I'll send someone to the academy to. Enough, she shrieks. And right then, her mind flashes back. Not to the failed mission, but to 3 years ago. To the duel. To a 10-year-old Cyan standing over her broken, whimpering son, Krantz. She remembers those cold, dead, glowing red eyes. She remembers his whisper, the threat that has given her nightmares for 3 years. Don't you want your son to graduate in one piece? The Duchess is trembling. She's not just mad that the assassins failed. She is paralyzed with terror. She realizes, if we do that, then Cyan. He'll know she was behind it, and he'll take it out on her precious son. She slumps, defeated. It's fine. Don't do anything. Her aide is relieved, but the Duchess isn't done. She turns her back to him, her voice as cold as ice. And, no one must know about this. Eliminate anyone who knows about it. The aide's blood runs cold. Yes, madam. He bows, his fate sealed. This paranoid woman is about to assassinate her own men, just to cover her tracks, all because she is that terrified of a 13-year-old boy. The Royal Academy 10 days later. A new carriage, this one far more official, rolls up to the massive, fortress-like gates of the Royal Academy. Inside, Cyan is relaxing, his feet up, looking every bit the noble son. His driver is, of course, the sole survivor of the ambush, Gideon, who we now know is named Brian Kendrick. It has been 10 days since we left Saffron, Cyan thinks. Brian has been acting as my subordinate all this time. At this rate, I'll arrive safely. So, I'll have to think about what to do with Brian. Just then, Brian peeks in, his attitude completely changed from a terrified assassin to a loyal servant. Young master, we're here. Cyan steps out, his 37-year-old mind looking at the school he hasn't seen in decades. Brings back the old days. I can't really call them good memories, but this academy changed me in many ways. He walks up to the registration desk, a picture of calm and nobility, and presents his family crest. Cyan Vert of the Duke Vert family. The receptionist, a perky blonde, sees the crest and her eyes go wide. Yes, of course. You just need to go to the assigned dormitory and wait. You'll need to attend the entrance ceremony and the elemental test in 2 days. She hands him a sealed, wax-stamped envelope, and a single, massive, ornate golden key. Cyan just looks at it. Did I hear it right? He's genuinely confused. This isn't what happened in his first life. Are you sure you haven't made a mistake? Before the receptionist can answer, Brian, who's carrying the luggage, sees the key and his jaw hits the floor. Master, this place is the Royal Hall. He's completely freaking out. The Royal Hall isn't just a dorm. It's the ultimate VIP suite, a palace within the academy reserved only for the imperial family or those with a direct order from the emperor himself. Brian is stammering, and no one in my family has ever gotten assigned to the royal hall. Someone has to be behind this. Cyan, however, is dead calm. His mind is already connecting the dots, the princess, the dragon, the emperor. He knows exactly what this is. He turns to Brian, his face unreadable. Since I made it to the academy and all the luggage is here, your role is done. He pulls a heavy, clinking bag of gold from his coat and tosses it to him. Brian fumbles to catch it. What's this? For all your work, Cyan says, his back already to him. It should be enough to help you start a new life wherever you go. You might end up dead, so don't go back to Velius. He's firing him, but also, saving his life. But Brian doesn't just take the money and run. He drops the bag. He drops the luggage. And he drops to one knee. Brian Kendrick, an official knight of Velius, would like permission to serve you my entire life. Cyan stops. He looks back, utterly unimpressed. You're a knight. I thought you were a coachman. Brian, still on his knee, explains, yes, although I'm the lowest of the low, so I was on stuff like coachman duty. But my father always used to tell me that if I meet someone I can trust and serve all my life, I should ask to serve him without hesitation. Cyan just lets out a long, tired sigh. That's really foolish to do. He turns around fully, and the temperature in the hallway drops. His killing intent, that cold, black aura, washes over Brian. Cyan's eyes are glowing with that terrifying, familiar red. How do you know that I won't stab your back in the future? This is the ultimate test. Brian is trembling, but he doesn't back down. He slams his head to the floor. Even if you were to, it doesn't matter. Cyan stares at him for a long, cold second, and the aura vanishes. Don't ever think about betraying me. He turns and walks away. I don't want to go to the entrance ceremony. Let's just go to the elemental test. Brian scrambles to his feet, tears in his eyes, grabbing the bags. Yes, young master. Meanwhile, in the highest tower of the academy, in the dean's office, the man himself, Dean Kundal, a mountain of a man with a beard down to his chest, is reviewing the new student files. With him is a purple-haired, glasses-wearing instructor named Sarika Nigrathi. They're impressed. These children are surprising enough, the dean says. The files show the best of the best. Aaron Severus. Mana rank, 2-star. Physical rank, B element, light 52%. Seth Chaharkan. Mana rank, 3-star. Physical rank, A element, Sand 71%. The dean grunts. But Cyan Vert, he's. The camera pans down to Cyan's file, and the stats are broken. Mana rank, 1-star, that's terrible. Physical rank, S, that's monstrous. Element, dark 92%. Instructor Sarika is shook. Even Alice Vert, who was titled God's Child, was 88% in water element when she graduated. 92%. The dean just scoffs. Yes, but his element is darkness. His talents might rot, considering that. But the dean is focused on something else. He holds up Cyan's file, his eyes narrowed. However, were you aware that Cyan Vert was assigned to the royal hall? Sarika's glasses nearly fall off her face. Yes, I heard from the other instructors. She leans in, her voice a whisper. It was the emperor's orders. This is a massive political move. Why? Why would the emperor of the entire continent personally step in for the worthless, bastard son of a duke? The dean explains. Apparently, Cyan saved the young princess from monsters on the front lines. He's even considering marrying the two. Boom! The other shoe drops. The fifth princess, Aaron, the one everyone called a failure, is to be married to a Vert, a family that produces nothing but S-tier geniuses. Sarika sees the implications immediately. What kind of consequences do you think that would have? The conflicts over the succession will be heightened, and the empire might split, perhaps leading to a civil war. The dean just leans back, stroking his beard. Don't overthink it. All we can do is watch, anyway. It's for us to witness, whether that child will become the empire's hero, or bring forth its downfall. He's walking down the absurdly luxurious, golden-plated hallway of the royal hall. 92%, he thinks to himself, I think I was in the 80s in my past life. Is it from drinking all that demonic beast blood? He's so lost in thought, he turns a corner and runs smack into a group of snot-nosed nobles. And standing right in the middle, is Krantz, his pathetic, sniveling half-brother. With him is another noble, a fat, ugly brat named Popper Penneron. In his first life, Popper was one of Krantz's lackeys and bullied Cyan relentlessly. Krantz sees Cyan and freezes, his face going white with terror. Popper, however, is an idiot. He doesn't know the new Cyan. He just sees the bastard. Huh. Yeah, this is Cyan, he sneers. Garam Kingdom's Marquis Penaron's son. I heard you don't even know who your mom is. Big mistake. The air around Cyan goes ice cold. A demonic, psychotic smile spreads across his 13-year-old face. His eyes are glowing a flat, terrifying red. He's someone who bullied me as much as Krantz did in my past life. His inner assassin is delighted. How lucky of me to meet him now. Popper, completely oblivious, just sneers. Move. Someone like him needs a good beating. He pulls his fist back and charges. His little blonde-haired friend sees Cyan's face and panics. Huh. Popper, wait. Watts with his eyes. Boom. It's not even a fight. Before Popper's fist is even halfway, Cyan, with his S-rank physical stat, appears in front of him and drives a single punch straight into his gut. It's a brutal, sickening sound. Popper's eyes go wide, all the air explodes from his lungs, and he is launched 10 feet backward, smashing into the wall and sliding down into a boneless, unconscious heap. One shot. The blonde kid screams. Popper. Krantz is on the floor, shaking so hard he can't even stand, his face a mask of pure terror. Cyan doesn't even look at the kid he just one-shot. He just calmly straightens his uniform cuff and starts walking toward Krantz. He walks right past him, not even acknowledging his existence, then stops. He slowly turns, grabs Krantz by the collar of his expensive uniform, and yanks him up to his face. Krantz is crying, snot and tears running down his face. Cyan just smiles. That cold, twisted, empty smile. His red eyes are glowing with pure, unadulterated killing intent. He whispers, his voice terrifyingly calm. I don't care what you do behind my back, because I'm lenient. He pulls him in so close they're nose to nose. But, if I ever see you again. His smile widens, his voice dropping to a demonic promise. You will be graduating in a wheelchair. He lets go. Krantz just collapses into a weeping, terrified, piss-pants puddle. Cyan just turns and walks away, a cold, satisfied smirk on his face. I think my life here is going to be fun. The next day, Cyan isn't in class. He's not in his dorm. He's in the deepest part of the Royal Academy's massive library, the Forbidden Archives, a place no student is ever allowed to go. And he's not alone. Instructor Sarika is there, frantically searching a bookshelf. It's not here, she mutters, her clumsy persona on full display. Are you looking for this? A cold voice cuts through the silence. Sarika jumps out of her skin, spinning around. Cyan is standing right behind her, holding the exact, ancient-looking book she was searching for. She's horrified, but not for the reason you think. How did a student get in here? Students aren't allowed. But her internal monologue is one of pure, cold shock. I couldn't detect his presence. Her, a master assassin, couldn't detect a 13-year-old kid. She forces a nervous laugh, putting her mask back on. You're Mr. Cyan, am I correct? Ahaha, can you give that to me? I really need it for my research. Cyan just smiles. That polite, noble smile. Ah, this? Of course. He holds out the book. Sarika, relieved, reaches for it. The instant her fingers get close, Cyan's dark, 92% affinity magic explodes from his hand. It rips the book's cover open, revealing a hollowed-out compartment inside. Dozens of secret, coded, assassination orders fly everywhere, scattering across the library floor. Sarika freezes. Her hand is still in the air. Her fake smile is gone. Cyan's smile is gone too. His face is a mask of pure, cold ice. His eyes are dead. Is that not what you were looking for? He takes a step closer. Instructor Sarek, no, he says, his voice dripping with contempt. Or should I say, the assassin organization's hall master of mist. Sarika Nigrathi. Sarika's mind implodes. Her cute instructor mask disintegrates. What the hell? How do you know that? We get a flashback. Cyan's first life. He remembers sitting in this counseling session with her. She was all smiles, how's life in the academy, while he was literally covered in bruises from Krantz. He thought she was a naive, ordinary, useless joke. Was my misunderstanding, he narrates, as we see his present-day, cold-eyed face. I was being deceived. I must not fall for that innocent-looking face. Being an instructor here is her cover job. She's actually an assassin. She's the hall master of the assassin organization, Mist. Back in the present, Sarika drops the act instantly. Her entire aura has changed. The clumsy cute woman is gone, replaced by a stone-cold killer. Her eyes are sharp, her voice is flat. All right, I'll hear you out in my lab. She gestures to the scattered papers. You can clean that up. Come with me. Moments later, they're in her real office. A hidden, dungeon-like laboratory filled with bubbling potions, strange artifacts, and medical skeletons. Cyan sits calmly in a chair, as Sarika pours him a cup of tea. He takes it, raises it to his lips, and takes a long, slow sip. He smiles. You've put poison in the tea. Sarika, who had just put her cute mask back on, just laughs. It's not a cute laugh. It's a demonic laugh. Hee hee. I knew things were going too smoothly. Don't worry, it's not a very severe poison. She leans in, her eyes smiling with pure malice. It'll only melt your organs. Cyan just takes another sip. But this won't work on me. He thinks back to the literal hellhound's blood he chugged. He thinks back to his maid Emily's mushroom soup, a concoction so vile it literally stopped his heart. Compared to that, this is nothing. Maybe use something a bit stronger next time. Sarika's teacup hits the table. Her smile is gone. Her mask is shattered. This kid, this child, is immune to one of her strongest, organ-melting poisons. She is completely, utterly floored. How do you know who I am? Plus, you knew I received my orders in that specific unpopular book. You were aware of the exact location. Are you, perhaps, trying to tell me that you're also a part of Mist? Cyan just looks at her, his face a blank slate. What more proof do you need? This pisses her off. The audacity. Ha! You've got a big head just because of your elemental test, huh? She leans back, her eyes narrowing. Before setting off to Chatran, I was asked by everyone, because nobles have been murdered left and right recently. Cyan's eyes flash red. He knows exactly what she's talking about. When did the purification project begin? The instant he says those words, Sarika's killing intent explodes, a dark purple aura flooding the room. The bottles on the shelves begin to rattle. Purification project? I'm not sure what you're talking about. But Cyan's own killing intent, a tidal wave of red and black, erupts and slams into hers. The air in the room becomes a crushing, physical weight. I'm referring to the assassinations, of course. The two master assassins stare each other down. The room is crackling with power. Sarika grins, a bead of sweat on her brow. You might regret what you just said. Cyan's demonic smile returns. Are you threatening a student right now? Sarika has had enough. She lunges across the table, a poison-laced dagger appearing in her hand, aimed straight at his throat. So that's how you're going to respond. Cyan, moving faster than she can see, whips his arm up and catches the poison blade, with his bare hand. Sarika's eyes go wide. He blocked her. She attacks again, a blur of motion. He just blocks her, sitting in his chair. She's furious. This is humiliating. I thought I proved my identity enough. Even if you're really a part of Mist, there can't be a member I don't know about, since I am a Hall Master. She unleashes a furious storm of attacks. I won't let you go. Cyan just sighs, as if he's bored. Phew, I guess I have no choice then. He drops his teacup, and in his hand, a small, ornate, demonic dagger appears. It's black and red, pulsing with a sinister, unmistakable, divine energy. Sarika stops dead. Her body freezes. Her eyes lock onto the dagger. Her face goes from rage, to confusion, to pure, absolute, unqualified. That dagger. She knows exactly what it is. Is it the demonic sword? Kirim, that only the one chosen by Eru can wield? Cyan stands up, the dark energy of the blade licking his arm. He holds it up for her to see. Do you believe me now? He slowly walks around the table, his killing intent completely overwhelming hers. She's a Hall Master, but he is a 37-year-old veteran with the blessing of a god. He is on a different level. I assume Mist is looking for the successor right now. He stops, the tip of the demonic sword just inches from her face. The very person you've been searching for, is right here. Bring me to Eru. Sarika, her mind still reeling, is now 100% obedient. She leads Cyan through the dark streets of Lewin, to a hidden, dead-end alley. She places her hand on a wall marked with a magical seal, and the world dissolves. They teleport. This is a unique realm made with the power of the god of fog, she explains, her voice now that of a subordinate. Because of that, it's much bigger than it looks from the outside. They're in a massive, dark, ancient stone temple. A mist base. It's quiet, too quiet. Cyan walks forward, his senses on high alert. His 37 years of experience are screaming at him. Anyway, he thinks, 2 at 4 o'clock, 3 at 11 o'clock. The instant he has the thought, daggers and swords fly out of the darkness from exactly those positions, all aimed to kill. It's a welcome party. But Cyan is already moving. He's a blur of black, his small dagger a flash of red light. He deflects every single blade with contemptuous ease. 5 cloaked, masked assassins land in a circle around him. They are stunned that he deflected my dagger. In that short of a moment. Amazing. They don't hesitate. Secret technique expansion, death horn formation. All 5 of them lunge at him at once, a perfect 5-point kill box. They're fast. They're skilled. They're S-class assassins. And Cyan just scoffs. He stops, plants his feet, and unleashes his own secret technique. The one he used to overwhelm his sister, Alice. The one he mastered in his first, bloody life. Secret technique expansion, bloodthirst wave. A massive, crushing wave of pure, crimson killing intent erupts from his 13-year-old body. This isn't a physical attack. It's a mental one. It's the physical manifestation of his 20-year bloodlust, a technique that forces his opponents to feel the agonizing, suffocating terror of their own death. The assassins immediately choke. Their attack stops. They grab their throats, their eyes wide with horror. I can't breathe. 4 of them collapse to the ground, unconscious, foam on their lips. Cyan stands in the center of them, but his eyes narrow. Though, this one, he's still standing. One assassin, the leader, in a terrifying skull mask, is on one knee, trembling, but he's resisting. He looks up, his one visible eye wide with shock. Fog's sword, unshakable roots of a great tree, he roars, and lunges, his own dagger glowing. Cyan is forced to block, and he's shocked. He managed to stop my technique midway through. The assassin lands, holding a familiar-looking curved dagger. You're adept at my main skill, the assassin says, their voice, female. I can't hold back any longer, Cyan Vert. Cyan's eyes widen. Ha! Hall Master Sarika. The assassin rips off her skull mask, revealing Sarika's face. But this isn't the clumsy instructor. This isn't the cold-blooded leader. Her face is flushed bright red. Her eyes are wide with pure, psychotic excitement. She's panting. Show me your true powers. Cyan instantly understands. He's seen this look before. That is what drives Sarika, he thinks. Zeal for combat. She's not just an assassin. She's a battle maniac. A hall master who's drunk with such desire, will want to fight until one of us dies. Come back here, Cyan Vert. Sarika screams, her face a mask of pure, terrifying ecstasy. Isn't this what you wanted too? She unleashes her ultimate attack. Fog sword, rushing fog storm. A tornado of purple energy and thousands of blades fills the entire room. Cyan is forced on the defensive, dodging and weaving. This is a special realm. The outside won't detect your energy at all, she yells. Cyan smirks. Alright, I can use all the techniques I want in a place like this. He thinks, I could probably end up killing her. But before she can finish, a new voice, one full of feminine rage, echoes in the hall. I didn't want to intervene. You know me, right? A figure descends from the shadows. Long, flowing black hair, a regal dark outfit, and eyes glowing with demonic power. It's Kiram, the human manifestation of his demonic sword. And she is pissed. Yes, demonic sword, Kiram, Cyan says, slightly annoyed. Kiram stomps up to Sarika, completely ignoring Cyan. So what is up with this situation? She yells at the hall master. You're supposed to worship Eru, but here you are, attacking my master. Sarika is totally confused. I was just checking to make sure he was the successor or not. Kiram is furious. You could have just called for your god instead then. Sarika, the battle maniac, just smirks. And if you want to, then can I take this as a direct challenge against me? The 2 strongest women in the building are about to go at it, when Kiram suddenly spins, marches over to Cyan, grabs him by the collar of his uniform, and lifts him off the ground. Hey, this is nothing, she yells in his face. What was the point of drinking all that beast blood then? You've manifested into your whole form, but that is a very inefficient way of doing it. It eats away at the owner's life force. Cyan is just dangling there, helpless, surrounded by psychos. What the hell's wrong with her? I'm scared. Sarika, on the other hand, is vibrating with excitement. A chance to fight the actual demonic sword in her human form. It'd be an honor, Kiram, she says, drawing her blades. Kiram drops Cyan in a heap and smirks at Sarika. Don't be crying and begging for my forgiveness later then. The 2 are about to have a cataclysmic, base-destroying deathmatch, when a deep, tired, and bored-sounding voice booms from the heavens. That's enough. A swirling black portal, a vortex of pure darkness, opens at the top of the temple stairs. Eru, Cyan asks, brushing himself off. Send the successor to the altar, the voice commands. Instantly, Sarika and Kiram both stop, sheath their weapons, and bow deeply. Yes, Eru. Cyan looks up at the portal, a small, genuine smile on his face. Finally, I get to meet Eru, the god of darkness. People say the god of black fog is evil, that he kills without hesitation, and justifies it as an act of consideration. He says in response, it is what they desired. Others do not decide for you what is right or wrong. If you can just protect your own ethics by dying, then that is enough. This god is just trying to protect the weak. Cyan walks through the portal, up a long, dark, endless staircase. At the very top, a lone, hooded figure in dark, regal armor sits on a massive stone throne, red eyes glowing in the dark. Do you know who I am? The god asks. Of course, Cyan says. He doesn't bow. He doesn't kneel. He just stands there, unequal. The god of black fog, Eru. Eru leans forward. Was your name Cyan Vert? I've never seen you before. What evidence do you have to claim yourself my successor? I'm sure you've already sensed, Cyan says, the power of the fog within me. Eru explains. There are two ways to become the successor. One is if I give them the mist stone myself. The other is when the mist stone finds the qualified one by itself. It is also true that the mist stone has suddenly disappeared last year. He leans forward, his red eyes narrowing. I do not know you, so I assume the latter applies to this situation. He pauses, and his voice drops. On top of that, it's surprising that you were able to awaken Kiram, even I was unable to track her down. You're handling her pretty well. And those eyes, the light in them surpasses your age. Eru leans back, the two red dots of his eyes staring through Cyan's very soul. I see. You're an outsider, from a timeline that I am not a part of. He knows. Eru knows Cyan is a regressor. Cyan's mind is blown. That he's not part of. I thought you were involved in me being here. Eru just scoffs. If you wanted an all-powerful and all-knowing god, you're in the wrong place. I'm not powerful. It's been a long time since my rights as a god have been taken away from me. He slumps in his throne, his voice suddenly sounding lazy. However, this is quite convenient for me. A perfect successor came on his own. There is less work for me to do now. I didn't even have to do anything. Kiram, now in her little floating blob form, zips up. You're as lazy as ever. Eru is about to retort, but then his red eyes narrow again. He spotted something else. Anyway, you've brought something rather annoying with you. Were you not satisfied with the demonic sword? You're attempting to take the power of the holy sword too. Cyan's face splits into that terrifying, demonic grin. He's still carrying the corrupted holy sword he stole from the hidden temple. I'm not trying to do anything as of now. I just thought. He looks up at the god of darkness, his grin widening. That if the world doesn't know of this thing's existence, it might become useless. He's hiding the world's ultimate hero weapon, just to spite his brother's destiny. Eru is visibly impressed. You possess quite the evil hobby. Well, I won't inquire any further, but I will follow the rules. I shall ask you as your absolute master. Dear successor who has inherited my powers, what do you seek with this power? The question hangs in the air. Cyan's mind flashes back, 20 years, to his first life. He remembers standing in this exact spot. A younger, weaker, more foolish Cyan. He remembers what he said then. I will live for my brother. The new Cyan clenches his fist. What an idiotic response. He remembers his pathetic end, his brother's sword in his chest. He remembers Eru's warning from that timeline. Remember this. There is nothing more dangerous than blind faith. He looks up, his eyes burning with a cold, new purpose. His answer, this time, is different. I am going to use your power. He clenches his fist, red demonic energy swirling around it. Purely for self-serving purposes. Just, for, me. Eru's red eyes flare. The room crackles with dark energy. What is right and wrong is for you to decide, the god's voice booms. Are you confident that you will not regret this? You best answer carefully. Depending on your response, I might kill you on the spot. This is the final test. Cyan doesn't even blink. He looks the god of darkness straight in the eye. I don't care what kind of consequences my actions might have. I'm not going to follow anyone's orders. That is the path I am going to take. The crushing pressure vanishes. Eru just leans back, his posture relaxing completely. You seem to have some kind of plan. Will you tell me about it? Cyan just smirks. Nope. Eru actually chuckles. It doesn't matter, as long as you will purify my name. Well, I won't ask any more questions. He then turns his full attention to the little blob floating by Cyan's head. Then I shall now converse with my daughter. He opens his arms wide. I'm very happy to see you like this. Kiram freaks out. Get away from me, stop. I'm trying to be nice to you since I don't have anything to give to your owner. Crazy bastard. Owner, do something. Cyan just stands there, sweat dropping, watching a god try to give his demonic sword a cringy hug. Wow, what a wholesome father-daughter relationship. What? Kiram screams, her attention snapping to Cyan. But just then, Enro unleashes a wave of pink, glowing, loving magic. Twat. What is going on? Kiram yells. The magic surrounds her, and her small blob form explodes into her full-sized, beautiful, human body. This is. I have a body, she says, looking at her hands. It's not using up my mana either. Did Enro use his own power to do that? She is livid. What have you done to me? She flies at Enro and grabs him by his divine robes. Enro just tilts his head, all innocence. Why? Do you not want it? You will need a physical form, in order to serve your owner. What did you just say? Why, you idiot? Cyan just sighs. Like father, like daughter. The next day, we cut to Cyan's dorm room in the royal hall. And it is chaos. His servant, Brian, is standing in the corner, pale and having a full-blown panic attack. Young master, what is going on? On one side of the room, instructor Sarika is sitting on a plush couch, smiling and pushing up her glasses. On the other side of the room, a new, insanely beautiful woman with black hair, a skin-tight black outfit, and a literal dragon's aura is sitting on the other couch, purring. This is Sivia, the hall master of the Dragon's Lair organization. Sivia looks at Sarika, her eyes full of venom. Oh, my, an instructor coming to see her students so early in the morning. Don't you think others will start talking about how special your relationship is? Sarika just beams, her counselor mask back on. Of course, it's all to guide him onto the right path. This is a perfectly normal relationship. A vision of a dragon and a tiger flashes on screen, snarling at each other. Sivia growls, shouldn't a hall master be a bit more careful? And as if that's not enough, Kiram, in her new human body, is standing over Cyan, her arms crossed. Mind your own business, owner only needs me. You need to stay away from him. He's my disciple. Cyan is just sitting at his desk, surrounded by 3 of the most powerful and completely insane women on the continent, all fighting over him. He just sighs. He stands up, and he walks out the door. I'm going on a walk. Brian, left alone with them, panics. Why, young master? Don't leave me with them. Sarika and Sivia both yell, get your weapon out, let's fight. Cyan escapes to a quiet rooftop, finally getting a moment of peace. Finally, I can relax. He closes his eyes, takes a deep breath of fresh air, and sniffs. His eyes snap open. It smells like blood. He looks down, and sees it. In an alleyway, far below. We're in the alley. The 3 noble brats from before are standing over a 4th student. The kid is on his knees, his face bloody, his body bruised, coughing his lungs out. Hey, let's try that, one of them says. The leader, a blonde prick named Barrett Louis Mill, smirks. Damn, you're so, let's do it right now. He holds up a small, glowing mana marble. Hey, look at this. I brought you a little snack. He grabs the beaten kid, Leximus, by the face, prying his mouth open. Your friend brought a handmade snack for you. You're gonna eat it, right? Leximus is crying, trying to fight back. Stop, stop. A new voice cuts in. It's Princess Erin Severus. She storms into the alley, her arms crossed, her face a mask of pure, noble-born disgust. Doing something so cruel to a fellow student. Aren't you embarrassed to call yourself a noble? She points at Barrett. I happen to be Barrett Louis Mill, the oldest son of the Garum Kingdom's Duke Louis Mill household. Erin points at Barrett. Who are you? Barrett just sneers. Ah, I was wondering who you were. But you're just the 5th princess of the Ushif Empire. He gives her a slimy, mocking bow. It's an honor to meet you. Erin is furious. I don't feel like shaking your hand. You better explain this situation. Barrett's smile turns demonic. Kicked. I think you're misunderstanding something. He grabs the terrified Leximus by the shoulder, hauling him up. Should we ask her? Tell her. Leximus is shaking, his eyes darting between the psychotic duke's son and the angry princess. And no, they weren't bullying me. You don't need to hide it. Just look at you. Leximus, his eyes dead. It's fine. Please just leave. We're just playing around. Barrett's grin is pure evil. Kikiki, you heard that, right? He shoves Leximus to the ground and turns on Erin. You didn't understand. He reaches out, and grabs her by the wrist. Erin's eyes go wide with rage. If you don't let go of me right now, I swear on my dash. Barrett's friends scream. In a blur of black and white, Cyan appears out of nowhere. He's grabbed Barrett's arm, and with a single, fluid motion, he yeets the Duke's son clear across the alley. Barrett smashes into the stone wall and crumples to the ground. His lackeys are frozen in shock. Eren is stunned. Cyan ignores them all. He just looks down at the beaten, bloody kid on the ground. Leximus. We flash back. Cyan's past life. He's on a rainy, war-torn battlefield, his demonic sword drawn. Standing across from him is a woman in light armor, her hair short and brown, a simple longsword in her hand. This is Leximus Klein, continent's best swordsman. Cyan's narration says, I was ordered by the Empire to assassinate her. My order was to assassinate her. But for some reason, after graduating the academy, she entered the Count Klein household, and even changed her nationality. We see them clash, steel on steel. There wasn't any special reason for it. Someone who had reached the peak of swordsmanship, without mana. The flashback ends with Cyan, in his prime, standing over her defeated body. I did not want to stealthily assassinate someone who had been titled the continent's best. They had an honorable duel, and he won. Back in the present, Cyan stares at the boy on the ground. Barrett, the bully, staggers to his feet, holding his arm. Are you Cyan Vert? He sneers. I've heard about you. You came back from the front lines, huh? Did you want to join our little game? Cyan asks, his face unreadable. His mind is racing. Ridiculous. Wrong use of a mana marble can lead to the destruction of mana inside the body. A game where you force-feed someone a mana marble. This is it. This is the moment. This is what created the swordmaster he dueled to the death. Barrett, misreading the silence as fear, smirks. I'll join. Barrett looks confused. What? Cyan looks up, his face dead calm, his eyes glowing red. I'll join. A massive, swirling, terrifying orb of pure, 92% affinity dark mana erupts in Cyan's hand. It's 10 times bigger than the tiny marble Barrett was holding. It cut to the infirmary. Leximus is sitting on a bed, covered in bandages. His arm is in a sling, his eye is patched. He looks terrible. Eren and Cyan are standing there. Your external injuries are mostly healed, the doctor says, but you need to be on bed rest for your internal injuries to heal. Leximus is almost in tears. Thank you so much. I don't know how I can repay you for this. Eren just crosses her arms and scoffs. Ha! You saw how those bastards ran away when our Cyan scared them. We just did what we should have, so don't worry about it. Cyan, meanwhile, is just staring at Leximus intensely. It's shocking that she managed to endure that, he thinks. Leximus looks up, her face turning bright red. Do you perhaps know me? I feel like you keep looking at me. Eren is confused. I thought I knew you, but I don't. Sorry if it was unpleasant. It's nothing. Eren, ever the princess, takes charge. Where's your dorm? What if those bastards come to bully you again? Leximus looks down, ashamed. Commoner Hall. Eren's eyes widen. Commoner Hall. You're a peasant. Leximus, who we now know is a she, explains. Yes, I was enrolled specially thanks to Instructor Velton. He promised me financial support during my school career, but he was suddenly fired. She's on the verge of tears. So in other words, no one's here to support me. You might have to leave the academy then. Yeah. Eren is devastated. Oh, no. You poor thing. Cyan, who's been silent this whole time, finally speaks. Then why don't you just take her as your person, princess? What are you talking about? Leximus is a boy dash, she's a girl. Eren's brain short-circuits. Her face goes blank. Leximus's entire body turns bright red. I didn't mean to deceive you, your highness. It's just, having short hair and boys' clothes were more comfortable, so. A lot of people mistake me for a boy. Eren is now the flustered one. No, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize. Even Cyan knew. I guess I've failed as a woman. She immediately shakes it off, a brilliant idea forming. I think Cyan's idea is pretty good. You, come under me. Leximus is stunned. You won't be bullied by bad people if you come under me. Eren declares. You can learn whatever you want and have a comfortable life. Leximus's eyes fill with tears of pure, unadulterated joy. Why me? Eren just smiles, a little smugly. Well, I don't really like being alone, and as a princess, I can't just do nothing. So, thank you so much. Leximus sobs. You don't need to thank me, Eren says, with a sly smile, turning to her new partner in crime. It was all Cyan's. She stops. Cyan is gone. Cyan. We see him walking down the academy hallway, alone. I did enough, he thinks. I'm sure Princess Erin will take care of the rest. But he's not just being nice. He's scheming. His mind is replaying his past life. But I see the reason Leximus abandoned the Ushif Empire. He sees a vision of Barrett, laughing as he shoves the mana marble into Leximus's mouth. She never would have lost her mana if it hadn't been for Barrett Louis Mill. He gets it. In the original timeline, Barrett succeeded. He destroyed her mana circuits. And that is what forced her to become a non-mana swordmaster out of pure desperation. That is what created the monster he fought to the death. By intervening today, by saving her, he has changed the future. He just created an even more powerful version of one of the continent's strongest fighters. The continent's best swordsman who never lost her mana. He thinks, my interest right now is elsewhere. He stops, pulling a small, black card from his jacket pocket. It's stamped with the crest of mist. The order that I received from Hull Master Sarika this morning. A demonic, bloodthirsty smile spreads across his face. It's my first purification mission. And that is where we leave our young assassin. His school life is just beginning, and he's already got his first official hit. Amidst the rumbling of a sky far above, a hand clutches a black card etched with glowing runes, the weight of a difficult mission pressing down on the holder. Cyan Vert stares at the card, his expression one of exhaustion and disbelief. He laments internally, it's my first mission, and it's this difficult. A memory surfaces of a woman giving him a thumbs up, her voice echoing, I believe in you. Cyan's face twists into a deadpan grimace as he thinks, as if, I'm worried that things are going to just get, if she's already bossing me around like this. Suddenly, a shockwave of force interrupts his thoughts. Cyan's eyes widen in alarm as he dodges a massive impact. Dust billows around him, and from the debris, a hulking silhouette with glowing orange eyes and crackling energy emerges. A deep, menacing voice booms, a demonic beast got into the academy. As the dust settles, the figure is revealed, a shirtless, muscular giant with a tattoo on his chest. He points a massive finger at Cyan. You're Cyan Vert. Cyan stares up, completely bewildered. The giant grins, introducing himself with aggressive enthusiasm. My name is Seth Chaharkin. I'm a newbie just like you. Cyan stares at the man's towering physique, his brain short-circuiting. The text box brutally contrasts the visual. Seth Chaharkin, age 11. Cyan's internal monologue screams in confusion. You're telling me this big-ass man is 11 years old? Was there a guy like that in my past life? Seth continues his boisterous introduction, clenching a fist that radiates power. I've already heard lots about you. You beat up demonic beasts and even survived a dragon attack. He flexes his bicep, veins popping. Plus, you received rank S for your physique. Even I didn't get an S. Let's fight. Cyan looks at the mark on Seth's chest, a cross within a circle. He recognizes it immediately. That mark on his chest. It symbolizes Sparnia. Cyan recalls the lore of Sparnia, a country in the middle of the desert east of the continent. Known as the Prince of the Sand, the first prince was a genius in magic and combat, making the nation so powerful even the Ushif Empire struggled to conquer it. However, the nation fell to ruins after the sudden death of the sole successor, ruled as a sickness caused by focusing too much on muscles and neglecting health. Cyan looks at the 11-year-old giant before him, realizing the rumors were true. Seth demands, decide right now. Cyan, sweating, tries to de-escalate. Right now. Seth grins maniacally, yes. You and I right now. Let's decide who's the best. I won't accept it. No, I'm sure you want to do this. No, Cyan replies flatly. Seth is shocked, his eyes going white. How come? Cyan calmly explains, sticking a thumb out, duels are not allowed in the academy. We have to put in an official request. Seth, dim-witted but eager, asks, alright, where do we do that? Cyan points him away. The third floor of the main hall. Alright. Seth screams, immediately sprinting off, smashing through the pavement with every step. I'll be fast. Wait for me, Cyan. Cyan watches him go, sighing. Another rumor about his brain being made of muscles was true after all. He's going in the opposite direction. Cyan adjusts his vest, his expression darkening. I don't know if you can actually request for duels, but I assume I won't see him for a while. I'll focus on the purification project for now. The scene shifts to a bright, clear sky over a bustling city. In a dark alleyway, a clandestine meeting is taking place. A man in a brown cloak reports to his superior, a nobleman with a goatee. Mr. Zitcherman, the preparations are complete. Zitcherman Albus, one of the 3 wealthiest people on the continent, sneers. Then stop loitering around and deliver it to the clients. Publicly known as a philanthropist, Albus secretly runs slave markets and breeds different species for illegal trade. He declares, "Today will be the appearance of my masterpiece." Suddenly, a voice cuts through the darkness from above. Target checked. High on the rafters, Cyan, clad in a black assassin's hood and mask, looks down with cold, glowing eyes. "I'll be able to get this done quicker than I expected." He draws a jagged, crimson dagger that hums with malevolent energy. What? I'm sensing a very complex energy, he thinks, narrowing his eyes at a specific crate below. That target, he's hiding something strange. Below, Albus senses something. Smoke. Before anyone can react, a streak of red lightning tears through the warehouse. Kukuk. A guard laughs, standing over a cage where a girl is curled up. Suddenly, a red slash bisects the air. The guard's head flies off in a spray of blood. Zitcherman Albus falls back in terror, screaming, "Arg," as his guards are dismantled in seconds. "Who is it?" a guard shouts, drawing his sword. What are you doing? Catch him. Do your pay's worth." Cyan lands silently, his eyes glowing red. "Show yourself," the guard yells, swinging his sword. Cyan parries effortlessly, his red dagger leaving trails of light. "Burk." The guard gasps as Cyan's blade finds the gaps in his armor. With a fluid motion, Cyan spins and slashes, the guard collapsing with a gargle. Albus scrambles backward on the floor, terrified. "Ag, damn it, where have all the others gone?" Cyan steps out of the shadows, blood dripping from his blade. "You'll find out soon. I'll send you to them." Albus looks around at the carnage, bodies piled high. "You sure employed a whole ton of people. Wasn't worth it, really." Albus hyperventilates, realizing he is defenseless. "What do you want? Money? I have all the money in the world." Cyan doesn't answer. He lunges, a red blur. Albus screams as the blade connects. "Arg!" Silence falls over the warehouse. Cyan stands over the corpse of Zitcherman Albus. "That's it for purification. I'll look around a bit before leaving." He walks toward the cage that drew his attention earlier. "Over here. Yeah, I can feel a combination of 2 different energies." He slashes the lock with a metallic clang. Inside, a girl lies motionless, clutching a large, scaled object. She looks dead. It's just a human. Nothing special. Cyan turns to leave, but his instincts flare. "No, look at what she's holding." He leans in closer. The object is a large, iridescent egg with purple scales. It's a dragon egg, Cyan realizes, shocked. The scene transitions to a lavish room. Cyan, now out of his assassin gear, sits on a sofa, the dragon egg placed on a cushion before him. A burly man with light brown hair stands over him, incredulous. "Where did you get this?" "I just picked it up off the street on the way here." Cyan lies smoothly. "Who picks something like this off the street?" the man yells. "I'm serious. I was just on a walk and found it," Cyan insists. The man sighs, looking at the egg. Dragon egg. He was going to sell something this dangerous. Was he going to deliver it to someone? Cyan shrugs. What if it hatches? The man asks in a panic. "It won't happen. Don't worry," Cyan assures him. "Dragons are like a big hunk of mana with different elements. Even if we continuously imbued it with the right elemental mana, it might not hatch. So dragon eggs that get separated from their mother are nothing more than just fancy rocks." Crack. A distinct sound echoes through the room. The man gasps. A crack. Cyan freezes. He stares at the egg. A fissure runs down the purple scales. Suddenly, a blinding purple light erupts from the egg. Energy swirls violently. "It hatched, young master," the man screams, clutching his head. Cyan's eyes widen in horror. "What do we do?" From the broken shell, a small figure emerges. It is not a dragon beast, but a small, naked girl with pink hair, small dragon wings, and horns. She looks up at Cyan with large, golden eyes, blushing. A draconic human, Cyan thinks, stunned. A mix between a dragon and human. The man panics even more. "This is going to be a much bigger pain in the ass than I expected." The dragon girl's eyes sparkle. She reaches out her tiny hands. "Pa!" Cyan stares. "Papa!" She chirps happily, leaping into Cyan's arms. Cyan catches her, his face a mask of sheer terror and confusion. "Does she think I'm her parent?" To his left, a female subordinate with purple hair and a mask bursts out laughing. "Ahaha. On becoming an 11-year-old dad." The burly man looks equally stunned. "This is all your fault." Cyan snaps at the woman. Later, Cyan holds the girl, who is now wrapped in a white shirt. He looks at her with a mix of curiosity and concern. Anyway, a hybrid like her. Just her presence alone might pose a threat. The female subordinate, now unmasked and looking serious, crosses her arms. She's right. The world we live in is too dangerous for a being like that. If the academy were to find out about this, the principal may harm her to eliminate the threat. Dragons are very strict about bloodline matters too. If they were to find out that this child exists, they would try to eliminate every single creature who knows about her existence. Cyan looks down at the sleeping girl. Do I really need to risk that kind of danger? He raises his hand, fingers outstretched, contemplating ending the threat right now. If she's fated to live a life of pain anyway, wouldn't it be better to just... The girl stirs. She grabs his finger with her tiny hand. NNN. She nuzzles against his palm. Cyan freezes. Dugun. His heart beats. She's warm. He lifts her up. She giggles. Iusaya. Cyan looks at her innocent face. What is this emotion? He sighs, defeated. I think it'll work out somehow. Let's just raise her. Kiram. Kiram, the female subordinate, looks at him with a deadpan expression. Is he going to make her his servant or something? Lame. Suddenly, the door bursts open. You're a kid too. It's Seth Chaharkin, holding a crumpled piece of paper. He is furious. Yua, shut up. Cyan looks at him, confused. What brings you here? There aren't any classes today. Seth shoves the paper in Cyan's face. Sparring approval. It has Seth's and Cyan's photos on it, stamped approved. Kiram grabs the paper, her eyes bulging. Are you insane? Have you gone crazy for attention? Even the principal is going to be there. What were you thinking? Staying on the down low was the least you could do. Cyan looks at the paper, sweating. Seth, he really found a way to do this. So he did find the office for it. Kiram is losing her mind. What's the big deal? Cyan asks nonchalantly. It's just a couple of 11-year-olds fighting, Cyan says, dismissing the danger. Seth interrupts, grinning. So, when's the duel? In 2 hours. Seth yells, running off again. Bahaha, a duel. Cyan watches him go, scratching his head. What a tiring dude. Meanwhile, in the Vert Castle, a tense conversation is unfolding. A beautiful woman with blonde hair clutches her chest, looking distressed. What should I do? Cyan, that bastard. She bites her thumb nail anxiously. It'll be bad for Krantz if I don't do something about him. Mother, a handsome young man with blonde hair enters. It is Askel Vert. The mother jumps. Gasp. Askel smiles warmly, placing a hand on her shoulder. You seem anxious. Please talk to me if you're struggling with anything. She blushes slightly, reassured. Thanks, Askel, but I'm okay. I'm not struggling with anything. I have to get going now. She hurries away. Askel's smile instantly vanishes, replaced by a cold, calculating look. Report, Kellen. A servant bows behind him. 6 of our knights were found dead in the mountains by Velias. The one behind it was Mrs. Margaret as you expected. We're assuming that the remaining one got into Luan with the youngest son. Askel narrows his eyes. So you weren't able to find out anything about my brother. I apologize. Askel clenches his fist. He never keeps around subordinates who disappoint him. I can't give up my position after all the hard work. Please believe me, I won't disappoint you. I know how much of a hard worker you are, Askel says, his voice devoid of warmth. All right, please be fast. My brother is definitely hiding something. Find out what it is. Yes, sir. Back at the academy, the duel is about to begin. The arena is packed. The principal, a man with a long white beard, watches from the VIP balcony. Beside him stands a woman with dark hair and glasses. In the ring, Seth charges. I've been waiting for this moment, Cyan Vert. Cyan draws his rapier. I'm sure you feel the same way. He thinks to himself, this is way earlier than I thought. Seth swings a massive greatsword. Are you gonna use magic? He asks with a grin. If you're not gonna use it, I won't either, Cyan replies calmly. Good, I like you. Then let's see how good you are. Seth roars, bringing the sword down with crushing force. Cyan watches the blade descend. His sword has a lot of his weight in it too, but this kind of weighty attack is very easy to deflect. With a flick of his wrist, Cyan's rapier meets the greatsword. Sparks fly. Instead of blocking, Cyan redirects the force, sliding his blade along Seth's and stepping to the side. Whoa. Seth stumbles, his momentum carrying him forward. He's trying to twist away my attack using the force of his downward strike. Cyan doesn't let up. He counters instantly with a swift thrust. Seth barely manages to pull back. Even then, he's using just a rapier. Seth swings again, faster this time. Cyan weaves through the attacks, his movements fluid and precise. He's pretty fast despite his size, Cyan notes. The crowd murmurs. What was that just now? Is he even human? Up on the balcony, the principal strokes his beard. Are they going to fight with magic now? What a bunch of bold children. The woman beside him adjusts her glasses, shocked. They aren't using both magic and swordsmanship simultaneously. Seems like Cyan won the sword fight. Indeed, he did. Seth Chaharkin's physique rank was A. It's quite an obvious result when you consider just the ranks. However, being fit is only the basic requirement to be able to manifest higher dimensions of spells. Student Seth is 3 stars in mana rank. That's the highest out of all the enrolled students. In the arena, Seth is panting, sweat dripping from his face. Cyan stands calmly, barely winded. How long do you intend to run around, and avoid my attacks like a little rat? Seth growls. Cyan looks bored. Then should I have just taken the attacks head on? A warrior wouldn't have dodged them. Seth screams, his eyes glowing with rage. You little kid. Cyan smirks. You're a kid too. Seth stomps the ground. Shut up. Golden energy begins to swirl around his fist. I lose in swordsmanship, Cyan vert. Now I have to win no matter what it takes. I'm going to give everything I have into this fight. What a tiring dude. Seth leaps into the air, his fist glowing like a meteor. You give it your all too. Death fist. He slams his fist into the ground where Cyan is standing. The impact creates a massive explosion of light and debris. Cyan vert. Seth yells. But as the dust clears, Cyan is gone. He appears in mid-air, dodging the blast completely. Wait, I thought Seth's mana rank was 3 star, the woman on the balcony exclaims, her eyes wide. That's a 4-star spell. You won't be able to dodge this one. Seth spins, generating a massive tornado of golden energy. Sandstorm. Desert Tooth. Seth roars as the tornado transforms into jagged spikes of earth and wind, rushing toward Cyan. I won't let you escape this one. The attack engulfs the area. The woman watches in disbelief. He managed to counterattack in that short time. But inside the maelstrom, Cyan stands firm. He isn't dodging. He holds his rapier ready, a confident smile on his face. I'll take this one head on. We're fighting with magic now, Cyan thinks, his eyes glowing blue. Then let's see how good you are. Amidst the rumbling of a sky far above, a young dragon girl with horns and wings stares in shock at the chaos unfolding. No way, she gasps, you already grew up that much. In the arena below, spectators murmur in confusion as a magical barrier shudders under immense pressure. What's going on in there? One asks. Mages in blue robes struggle desperately to maintain the shimmering dome. The protective barrier is on the verge of breaking down. Reinforce it, a mage commands, sweat pouring down his face. Ugh, how are just 2 students this strong? Another cries out, glancing frantically at the VIP box. What's the dean doing? Can't he see how serious this is? In the stands, Dion, a purple-haired woman, leaps from her seat in panic. Dean, we need to stop the duel right now. But Dean Kundal, the white-bearded mage, watches with a calm, analytical eye. Wait, something is happening. Inside the barrier, Cyan vert stands amidst a storm of energy, holding a dense black orb. A text box identifies the power, secret technique expansion, void sphere. Dion's eyes widen behind her glasses. She screams, no, stop. A massive explosion of purple energy erupts, tearing through the arena. The dean laughs heartily, again and again in this fight. Ha ha ha. Dion is appalled. Why would you use that here? On the arena floor, the purple energy swirls into a vortex, accompanied by the sharp sound of tearing magic. A fist clenches, dissipating the power. Cyan stands tall, his opponent, a muscular student with white hair, kneeling before him, exhausted and defeated. Do you want to keep fighting? Cyan asks cold-bloodedly. The barrier dissolves, leaving the crowd stunned. The spell suddenly disappeared, a student whispers. Was that black sphere also magic? Another wonders. Just what is he? The muscular opponent pants heavily, his spirit broken. No, I lost, he admits, staring at the ground. I lost in both swordsmanship and magic. His eyes glow with a strange intensity. I'm depressed. Cyan scratches his cheek awkwardly. I kind of feel bad. Did I beat him too one-sidedly? Suddenly, the opponent slams the ground and looks up with a maniacal grin. Good, very good. I was tired of fighting weaklings anyway. He clenches a fist, veins popping. I'm motivated to train. He extends a hand. I don't know when it will be, but let's fight again. You'll accept the challenge then too, right? Cyan smiles politely but firmly. No, thanks. Later, in the safety of his dorm, Cyan watches the dragon girl spin around in a new dress. I knew that a dragon's growth spurt is faster than humans, he thinks, sweat dropping as she twirls. Welcome back Papa, she cheers. Asterisk, but she looks like she's about 6 years old now. She might look like my age soon. Asterisk. Brian, the butler, watches with a forced smile. Ah, she keeps growing so fast. Cyan sighs internally. It's going to get harder to raise her in the dorm. Dion leans against a doorway, her expression stern. Eventually, you won't be able to hide her anymore, she warns. I can help hide the demonic sword, but I can't help you hide a draconic human. Especially if you go wild like you did today. What the hell were you thinking? She collapses onto a couch, utterly drained. A few days later, chapter 24 begins. Cyan watches the girl, now named Nana, playing. She's growing scarily fast, he notes. Dion's voice echoes in his mind. Asterisk, it's up to you how you deal with something you picked up during a mission. But something like this is going to be hard to handle. Asterisk. Cyan turns to Brian. Brian is in charge of taking care of her. Brian points to himself, bewildered. I was in charge. Cyan holds up a red envelope. There's a barrier set up in the dorm so this kid's presence should be, well, that's as long as you don't create trouble. He examines the letter. This is rather disappointing for a reward for winning the duel. Dion shrieks from the couch as Cyan reveals the contents. You be careful for a while, she scolds. Nothing good will come out of getting too much attention. Young master, what is that? Brian asks. Ah, a warning letter, Cyan says casually. A warning letter? Yeah. It's telling us we're going to be kicked out for misbehaving. Nana freezes, terrified. Gasp. Kicked out? What do we do, Papa? Are we going to be living off the streets? Cyan looks at her, unamused. Where did you learn that kind of thing? Do you even know what that means? Nana suddenly sparkles. Heh. She's growing way too fast, Cyan mutters, patting her head. Not yet. You don't need to worry about anything. Are you sure it'll be alright? Brian asks nervously. If we go back to Velia's, don't worry about it, Cyan says, his eyes narrowing at the signature on the letter. Kundal Quizel, I'm going to issue a complaint. The dean sent this to me himself. It wasn't from the administration office. That must mean that the dean wishes to talk to me. Inside the dean's office, Kundal Quizel stares down at Cyan. You want to enter the Knights of Light? He asks, his voice heavy. Have you finally decided to live for the sake of your brother? Yes, Cyan lies effortlessly. It doesn't seem like a path fitting for you, the dean muses. Cyan walks down the long hallway, his thoughts dark. Asterisk, I had always thought that he was a pacifist. But in this life, he suddenly proposed a royal succession fight. Asterisk. Back in the office, the dean chuckles. Haha, I guess you're aware of that too. Then let me give you some advice. Nothing good will come out of taking this path. He clasps his hands. Whether you face trials or bear a cruel fate, you won't benefit from anything. That's what it's like to live as someone's doll. No matter the result, you are just going to end up blaming your brother. Cyan smiles grimly. That's what he told me in my past life. I wonder what he's going to tell me this time. Flashback to the dorm. Brian asks, young master, shouldn't we give this child a name? A name? Yeah, we can't keep calling her kid. Cyan thinks for a second. Nana. Brian looks disappointed. How's that? Sorry. Why you didn't give it any thought? Nana. It's still Nana spelled backwards. Cyan insists. Nana cheers. Good. I wanna be Nana Vert. Cyan stares at her. This kid. How did she know my last name? Brian covers his face. Asterisk, it's over. She's going to be bullied by the other kids. Asterisk. Back in the office, the dean continues. Cyan Vert. He studies the boy. Asterisk, I knew that he had a lot of potential, but to absorb a 4-star spell using a 1-star black sphere. He's scarily talented. But it didn't seem like it took him that much effort. I want to know your limits. Asterisk. The memory of Cyan crashing through the window plays in the dean's mind. Dean Kundal. Cyan had asked, glass shattering around him. I'm Cyan Vert, an incoming student. I came to express the complaint. Kukukuk. The dean laughs. He ignored the barrier and came through the window. I lost this one. Your disagreement? The dean asks now. Yes, it said that the letter came from you. But after seeing that barrier outside, I became certain of one thing. The warning letter was just an excuse to test my talent, wasn't it? Right, the dean admits. It was rather aggressive, but you successfully proved your talents. But I will not take back the warning. You can try to persuade me otherwise. Then can I ask you one thing? Cyan says. Go on. Do you want the expansion of the empire, or do you want honor for your family? The dean's eyes widen. That's quite a bold question. He waves a hand. Neither is my concern. Is that so? Cyan presses. If the third prince were to try and take the throne instead of the first prince, you won't take sides. The dean laughs, a dangerous edge to his voice. You're not just bold. You're arrogant. Cyan stands his ground. I was a doll for Askel. I don't think you're any different from my past self. Narrative text explains. In my past life during the throne succession fight, Kundal had a large influence in making the first prince the emperor. Luinel was a cruel and vicious man. He killed all of his siblings. And when Kundal was against this, he framed Kundal as a traitor of the empire and sentenced him to death. He had worked to brighten the future of someone else, but ended up being betrayed by this very person. Nonsense, the dean shouts, slamming his desk. You think the peace of the last century will fall so easily? I thought you were a genius, but you are nothing more than a fool. Do you really think so? Cyan asks calmly. The mother of the first prince and second princess died from an illness, and the third and fourth princes are fair matches for the first prince too. The Nepellus household is very well known for being greedy for power. That household will do anything to keep their position of power. In my opinion, the empire's peace is already on a thin line, and the day that peace falls, this academy will be over for. The dean sweats, staring at the boy. Is this really the thought process of an 11-year-old? What are you telling me this for? To negotiate, Cyan says, extending a hand. I will help you. With the peace of your family and the academy too, so please take back the warning. The dean stands, mana flaring around him. What power do you have to help us? A massive magic circle forms on the ceiling. Feel the weight of your arrogance. Chains of light shoot down, chains of judgment, they wrap around Cyan, binding him. He knew that I was coming, and still put up a 9-star area restriction barrier, Cyan notes, grinning as the chains tighten. You won't be able to escape my chain tower, a 9-star spell, the dean declares, turning his back. I must have overestimated. Then, let me prove myself, Cyan whispers. The dean spins around. Purple energy explodes from Cyan, shattering the chains of light. Void Sphere applied technique, the 9-star spell crumbles into particles. The Void Sphere is only about 1 star, and yet it has absorbed my spell, the dean gasps, horrified. Cyan stands amidst the dissipating magic, his eyes glowing. Do you think I'm useful now? The dean, sweating profusely, nods. Yes, I'll take back the warning. He pauses. Is that really all you want? Cyan smiles, dusting off his uniform. Yes, that's all. I just want to have a peaceful student life. Let's talk more then, the dean says as Cyan leaves. I'll make sure to invite you if there's a party. Cyan calls back. Alone, the dean whispers, I don't want to see the academy collapse again. Chapter 25 begins with a sunset over the town. A man walks down the street, carrying bags of groceries. Is it because I have a kid at home? I ended up buying all kinds of sweets, but I'm just happy thinking about her eating all this. He stops. The streets are strangely quiet. Shadows loom over him. Am I making a big deal out of nothing? The bag drops from his hand, spilling bread and sweets onto the cobblestones. Back at the academy, Cyan wakes up at his desk. This is my last class of the day, but I'm so damn bored. Learning something I already did 30 years ago. It's basically torture. He leaves the classroom. I don't have any mission either. I'll just go train. In the hallway, he spots a silver-haired girl, Erin, cornered by 2 male students. Where are you going, Cyan? The lessons aren't over yet, one boy sneers. To the bathroom, Your Highness, Erin stammers. Lies. That's not the way to the bathroom, the boy yells. Miss Erin, you need to behave better as a princess. Cyan steps in. Are you sure you're going to the bathroom? Did you permit Leximus to call you by name? Erin looks at him, surprised. Ah, what? Are you changing the topic right now? Yes, I allowed her to do that in private. She turns on Cyan. So, why do you still call me, Your Highness? Aren't we friends? Cyan looks deadpan. I'm just a civilian and Your Highness is a princess. How could I just call you by name? You're too serious, Erin pouts. I'll take that as a compliment. Erin, a voice calls out. Erin freezes. 2 older students approach, Pavian and Nerovian Nepellus. Long time no see, Erin, Pavian says smoothly. Pavian. Nerovian, Erin whispers, terrified. It's been a while, Nerovian adds with a freckled grin. TCH. Are you hanging around peasants? Are you going around with servants now that you're all grown up? Eren trembles as Nerovian leans in. Birds of a feather flock together, huh? Cyan watches them. Asterisk they're of the Nepellus family. They're very clear about not liking her. Asterisk. Pavian notices Cyan. You're, Cyan, Vert? His expression shifts to a fake smile. Nice to meet you. I'm Cyan Vert, the youngest of the Verts. Cyan introduces himself. There's no way I wouldn't know a son of Duke Vert. I was impressed by your duel. I'll make sure to invite you if there's a party. Then, see you, Pavian says, walking past. He glances back at Eren coldly. Ah, not you though. Nerovian whispers into Eren's ear, we should become friends. This is a rare opportunity, you know. Yes, thank you. Then, see you, Eren says, voice shaking. As they leave, Eren clutches Cyan's sleeve, her face flushed with shame and fear. Miss Eren, are you alright? Cyan asks. Back in the dorm room, Cyan enters to find Nana sleeping. I'm here. He looks around. What? No one's here. Brian, Kiram. A purple blob floats out. Ye's coming, I can't even get a break around here. Why are you in that form? Cyan asks. Because this is more convenient when I need to hide my presence. Why did you call me? Look for Brian. Kiram the blob stares blankly. Am I a damn dog? Why should I search for a person? Kiram yells. That's not how you ask for favors. I'm sure he'll find his way back fine. Kiram sniffs the air. Sniff sniff. I smell blood. Cyan's eyes widen. In a dark alleyway, Brian lies beaten and bloody on the ground. A group of thugs stands over him. This is why you should have listened to us while we were still being nice, the leader says. You've made things annoying for us. I thought you were the only guardian knight, but you're garbage. He draws a sword. I'm going to cut you up into pieces. And I'll send those pieces to your owner as a gift. The thug grins maniacally. This is all because your owner wanted to act up in my face. It makes me want to throw up just thinking about it. Brian coughs up blood, struggling to speak. Okay, what? The thug asks. Brian looks up, a defiant smirk on his battered face. Haha, what a joke. You insane bastard. The thug's eyes flare with rage. Did you lose your mind from the beating? He raises his sword high. This is no fun. Kill him. The alley is bathed in red as the order is given. Kill him. He forces a twisted smile, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and madness. Great, he shouts, trying to mask his terror with bravado. The camera focuses on Barrett's manic expression. He yells, I'll first start with carving out your organs then. The protagonist is unimpressed. That's exciting, he replies, his tone flat and mocking. This is no fun. Suddenly, the protagonist moves. He vanishes from his spot, leaving only a blur of motion. A notification box appears in the air, purple and ornate, thick fog 8th form assault. The protagonist unleashes a flurry of strikes, his daggers moving faster than the eye can follow. He tears through the remaining defenses, the purple energy of his attack slicing through the air with a sharp swing sound. Barrett watches in horror as his last line of defense is obliterated. He screams internally, realizing the gap in their power. He defeated my mercenaries in a flash, he thinks, panic setting in. How is he this strong? The protagonist lands a devastating blow, sending shockwaves through the alley. Barrett is sent flying, crashing into a pile of wooden crates. He lands hard, his body broken and unresponsive. He gasps for air, looking up at the figure approaching him through the dust. He realizes who it is. Cyan Vert, he screams, the name tearing from his throat. The protagonist stands over him, looking down with glowing purple eyes. He asks, is it really that fun to harass people who are weaker than you? Barrett coughs up blood, trying to push himself up. What do my hobbies have to do with you? He spits back, defiant to the end. The protagonist grabs Barrett by the face, lifting him effortlessly. His grip is ironclad, his fingers digging into Barrett's cheeks. Are you going to kill me for it? Barrett taunts, his voice strained. I'm a Luis Mill, the most powerful family in the Garum Kingdom. The protagonist stares into Barrett's eyes, unimpressed by the threats. You sure talk a lot, he says, purple energy beginning to gather in his free hand. He slams Barrett back down onto the ground. Ack! Barrett cries out as his head hits the pavement. The protagonist pins him down, his knee pressing into Barrett's chest. He looms over him, the purple aura intensifying. What did you say you were going to do to me? He asks softly, dangerously. You think you can avoid the consequences of doing something like this to me? The scene shifts to a flashback, the panels turning monotone. The narration takes over. The oldest son of the Luis Mill household, which can be considered the real authority figure in the Garum Kingdom. We see a younger Barrett sitting on a throne-like chair, looking arrogant and cruel. He was pretty well known for his problematic behaviors in my past life too, the protagonist narrates. The image shifts to a gruesome scene. A girl lies dead on the floor, blood pooling around her. Barrett stands over her with a whip. Physically assaulting others was the least of the terrible things he did, the narration continues. He also burned small animals alive for his entertainment. The flashback shows the dead girl again. He murdered a fellow female classmate. His excuse was that she was practicing magic. The narration turns grim. In the end, there was an order from Mist to purify him. We see the protagonist in his past life, wearing his assassin gear, holding a glowing rune. When I infiltrated the mansion where he was staying after his expulsion, **** the narration says. The protagonist opens a door, revealing a pile of bodies. I saw the countless corpses of the servants that had been stored in the basement. The flashback shows the protagonist sitting on a chair, staring at a bound Barrett. After torturing him, I was going to kill him in the most painful way I knew. Barrett, in the flashback, smiles maniacally despite his situation. And then, he smiled at me, telling me to just kill him instead of dragging things out. That face is still vivid in my head. The flashback ends, returning to the present. The protagonist stares down at the current Barrett. He said that he was fine dying because he had all the fun that he wanted to have. The protagonist's expression darkens. Now that I think about it, killing him like that probably wasn't a punishment he deserved. He looks at his hand, where dark, corrupt energy is swirling. As he said, he already had all his fun before dying. Just death is nowhere enough. He makes a decision to make up for the number of lives he had taken. Barrett stares up at him, trembling in pure terror. The protagonist summons a massive sphere of purple energy in his hand. It crackles with malicious intent. A text box appears, creation, shadow personality. The energy surges, transforming into a dark, ghostly visage that screams silently. Barrett's eyes widen as he realizes what is about to happen. Don't do that, he begs. The protagonist ignores him. I'll first start with carving out your organs then. He repeats Barrett's earlier threat, mocking him. What are you going to do to me? Barrett screams as the energy descends. The protagonist shoves the orb of dark magic directly into Barrett's mouth. The dark energy forces its way down his throat, choking him. Barrett gags, his eyes rolling back in his head. The energy consumes him, flowing into his body and mind. He screams, his voice distorted by the magic. The protagonist stands up, watching his handiwork. Barrett writhes on the ground, clutching his throat, purple smoke pouring from his eyes and mouth. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the chaos. Is this the loyalty you swore to me? The protagonist freezes. He turns to see a figure standing at the entrance of the alley. It's a young man with brown hair, looking disappointed. I never thought they would attack me in such a large group, the newcomer says, looking at the defeated mercenaries. The protagonist quickly dispels his murderous aura. He adopts a look of panic and fear. I apologize, young master, he stammers, bowing his head. The brown-haired man sighs. I don't need a loyal subordinate who dies. He walks over to the protagonist, offering a hand. Why didn't you just run away? The protagonist looks up, feigning surprise. I kinda get what you meant to do, but are you stupid? The man asks, pulling him up. The protagonist puts on a sheepish grin. Don't do stupid things, the man scolds gently. It's annoying. Just then, another figure steps out from the shadows. A girl with silver hair and piercing red eyes. She holds a sword to the brown-haired man's throat. Anyway, you're in for a lecture when we get back, she says sharply. The brown-haired man freezes. I'm sorry, he yelps. The girl looks past him, her eyes locking onto the protagonist. She lowers her sword slightly. So it was you, she says, recognizing him. The protagonist stares back, his internal monologue racing. The little obsessive stalker who's been following my disciple everywhere recently. He recalls his past life. He used to be jealous of my relationship with Askell in my past life. The scene shifts. The protagonist is now acting the part of the weak, terrified subordinate. He looks at the silver-haired girl, Erin. Oh, you noticed? She asks, a playful glint in her eye. She sheaths her sword. Well, yeah. Well, I do admit that you're talented. She walks closer to him. Powers surpassing that of a mist assassin, she lists off his traits. Intellect that allows you to strike a fair negotiation with the dean, a mental fortitude that allows you to handle the demonic sword perfectly. She stops right in front of him, leaning in close. You're an ideal fit for a successor. The protagonist sweats nervously, but these kinds of things cannot continue to happen. She glances back at the entrance of the alley. There will be more people who find you suspicious. I will be careful. However, as she turns back to him with a serious expression. I don't intend on living like an idiot taking shit from others. The protagonist's eyes glow purple for a split second, unseen by her. If anyone puts a hand on my people like this, he thinks, his true nature surfacing for a moment, I will crush them no matter what. Eren smiles, oblivious to the monster in front of her. Haha, I see, so he will protect his own people. She turns to leave. Well, I'm sure you'll take care of it. I'm going now. The protagonist watches her go. Okay, he says simply. He looks down at Barrett, who is still bound and gagging on the floor. What are you going to do to me? Barrett whimpers. The protagonist squats down next to him. Are you going to kill me? Barrett asks, terrified. The protagonist smiles, a genuine, terrifying smile. Kill you? He asks. I think that's too easy. He leans in closer. You better not think about questioning me. Barrett screams as the protagonist activates the magic again. Whack! The purple energy flares, and Barrett's eyes go blank. He should be pretty useful for my plans, the protagonist thinks, looking at the broken man. He stands up and walks away, leaving Barrett behind. He's the guy who's been following me lately, he explains to the brown-haired man, who is looking confused. What? You already knew? The man asks. Well, yeah, since I left her with Kirim though, the protagonist replies casually. The protagonist looks at the man. Why don't we take her on walks? I'm sure she's stressed from being here all the time. The man looks skeptical. But can I come over sometimes? The protagonist asks. To my room? The man asks, surprised. Don't be mistaken. The protagonist says quickly, blushing. I just want to see Nana sometimes. Well, it doesn't matter to me. The man laughs. Of course, right, Leximus? He turns to his companion, a stoic knight. Yeah, I come here to train every weekend with Leximus. Eren chimes in. Yes, did your highness come here to train as well? I thought it'd be a good idea given that incident, the man says, looking serious. Is she referring to what happened a week ago? The protagonist wonders. The scene flashes to a newspaper clipping or a report. Barrett Louis Mill was found in front of the nurse's office completely out of his mind. He was beaten to a pulp, but nobody could get him to say who had done that to him. The narration continues. Well, it's because he couldn't say who it was, not that he didn't want to. And the thing is, he won't be able to use magic ever again. We see Barrett in a hospital bed, looking vacant. Back in the present, the protagonist smiles to himself. I thought she would feel happy. Eren looks at him with suspicion. Why? She asks, pressing him. I just feel bad for her. She won't fit in with the dragons or humans. Suddenly, a small figure bursts into the scene. Papa. It's Nana, the dragon girl. She flies into the protagonist's arms. Nana found Papa. She cheers. The protagonist catches her, surprised. Wait, Nana. That way's dangerous. He warns. But it's too late. The stoic knight, Leximus, draws his sword. His eyes glow with a fierce blue light. That I cannot permit as a dragon. He stares at Nana, recognizing her true nature. She even knows that Nana is a draconic human. The protagonist realizes, panic setting in. He clutches Nana tightly. Don't worry, Cyan. He shouts to the brown-haired man. I won't tell anyone. The man looks confused. Is your highness serious? Eren steps forward, smiling. Then, this is our secret, okay? She winks at the protagonist. Then, I'm going to get going. She bows to the brown-haired man. I smell something sickening, she whispers as she passes the protagonist. Where are we, Catalina? We see a brief glimpse of a demonic entity floating behind her. It's not that close, but, I smell something sickening. Eren walks away, leaving the group stunned. What's wrong, sir? The protagonist asks the knight. Leximus sheaths his sword, the blue light fading. It's dangerous, he says, looking at the protagonist with a mixture of suspicion and warning. The protagonist looks down at Nana, who is happily snuggling into his chest. She looks like she's having fun, he notes. He looks up at the sky, where Eren disappeared. This place is 10 kilometers from the center of Luwin. Outskirts of Luwin. He realizes something. Wait, something's coming, he thinks, sensing a new presence. Suddenly, a massive burst of blue energy erupts from the night. It's dangerous. He yells again, shielding the brown-haired man. The protagonist reacts instantly. Brian, what about Nana? He shouts, shielding the girl with his own body. She's okay, he reassures himself. Both of you, stay behind me. The air is thick with killing intent as the protagonist, Cyan Vert, finds himself flanked by two overwhelming presences. On one side stands a crimson-haired female dragon in human form, her eyes glowing with predatory malice. Facing her is Lukian, a high-ranking silver dragon, his expression one of utter disdain. The female dragon scoffs, her voice dripping with arrogance as she demands to know why high-ranking dragons have gathered in such a place. She wrinkles her nose, identifying a sickening stench that she describes as a disgusting mix, questioning how such a vile creature could dwell here. Her gaze locks onto Cyan, identifying him as the owner of the halfling child he protects, noting with a sneer that he even wields a demonic sword. She insults him further, calling him an inferior thing that has degraded himself to be a human slave. From the shadows of Cyan's blade, a dark, demonic spirit manifests, its jagged teeth bared in a sinister grin as it asks if she wants to die. Lukian intervenes, his tone bored and dismissive. He states he has no interest in fighting inferior beings unnecessarily but demands they hand over the halfling. In the background, Cyan's butler clutches the trembling, pink-haired girl, Nana, who is terrified by the dragon's aura. The female dragon adds a chilling incentive, promising to let the humans go if they surrender the child, claiming she is worth experimenting on. Cyan's patience snaps. He coldly orders them to shut up. Lukian pauses, disbelief washing over his face as he asks the human to repeat himself. Cyan looks up, his eyes burning with crimson energy, and calls the high-ranking dragon a lizard piece of shit. Lukian lets out a dry, incredulous laugh before unleashing a devastating wave of blue energy. The butler cries out in panic, but Cyan remains calm, ordering him to take Nana and get as far away as possible. Without hesitation, the butler obeys, fleeing the blast zone. As the dust settles, Lukian comments on Cyan's fancy technique but mocks it as proof of his inferiority. Suddenly, the air turns heavy. A red text box heralds Cyan's counterattack. Thick fog 9th form, demonic sword manifestation. Dark, red-black energy erupts from Cyan, enveloping him in a terrifying aura. Lukian's eyes widen in genuine shock as he recognizes the energy signature, stuttering that it is the power of the exile. Despite this revelation, he tries to maintain his composure, insisting Cyan is still just an inferior human. He launches a barrage of energy spears, but Cyan activates Thick Fog 3rd form, Fog Glide, his body becoming insubstantial as he weaves through the attack with supernatural speed. Lukian growls in frustration, calling him a little rat. The female dragon, Catalina, steps in, shouting that she will block him. She erects a fire barrier, boasting that a dragon's barrier made from 1,000 years of mana accumulation cannot be pierced by a mere human. Cyan meets her challenge head-on. He unleashes Fog Sword, 8 fluttering petals, his blade moving so fast it creates afterimages. The strikes slam into the barrier, and to Catalina's horror, cracks begin to spiderweb across the magical shield. She stares in disbelief, unable to comprehend how a human possesses such power. Lukian, realizing the threat is real, demands to know who Cyan really is, shouting that the god of fog has no authority here. He prepares a massive spell, the ground trembling beneath them. A blinding light engulfs him as he initiates polymorph, abandoning his human guise to return to his original dragon form. Cyan's eyes narrow. He knows this spell. He knows that during the transformation process, a dragon is stripped of its human form's defenses before the dragon scales fully manifest. He is at his most vulnerable right now. Seizing the split second of opportunity, Cyan leaps into the air. He executes a double serial slash, cutting deep into the forming dragon. Lukian screams internally, shocked that a human would know the weakness of polymorph. Cyan doesn't let up. He descends from the sky, his sword glowing with an ominous red light as he unleashes Fog Sword, unshakable roots of a great tree. The massive downward slash crashes into the dragon, eliciting a roar of agony that shakes the heavens. As the battle concludes, the scene shifts briefly to Nana, who is drooling over the thought of dragon meat, oblivious to the carnage. The story transitions to a quiet, dimly lit office. A blond man, Boris Lelm, sits behind a desk, his fingers steepled as he interrogates a man standing before him. The man is Cyan, perfectly disguised with brown hair and a beard, using the alias Kellen. Boris apologizes for the lack of information but notes it is strange that Kellen lacks the desperation he had before leaving. He begins to probe, asking if there is a connecting link between the recent events. Boris reveals that his informants who brought testing subjects were eliminated. He suspects a boy named Cyan Vert, the only dark element user at the Royal Academy. He lays out the evidence. The shattered mana stones of the dragons indicate an attacker above 8-star power. He deduces that a fourth, unknown individual must be involved. Boris stares sharply at Cyan, stating he will need to keep an eye out, and mentions having his granddaughter, Lun of Rainreaver, get acquainted with Cyan Vert to ensure he doesn't get in the young master's way. Cyan listens, his internal monologue revealing that this is a test. Boris is starting to doubt him. Boris breaks the tension by introducing himself formally and offering wine. He then turns his gaze to the guardian knight accompanying Cyan, a woman in a maid's outfit. Cyan quickly covers, claiming she is young master Cyan's maid, Emily, whom he called for a favor. The maid blushes, playing along. Boris smiles, saying he likes that Kellen understands him. Later, in a safe location, Cyan has shed his disguise, returning to his black hair and sharp features. He sits with the maid and Nana, who is happily devouring a cake made by the palace chefs. Cyan explains they must stay low for a while, as the dragons sense Nana's presence and might ambush them again. Nana, mouth full of cake, cheerfully declares she likes him. Cyan watches them, a rare look of contentment on his face as he notes they are having fun. 2 years pass. The scene opens on the majestic, sunlit architecture of the Royal Academy dorms. Cyan narrates that he tried to remain inconspicuous while adjusting to academy life. He stands in a grand hallway, memories flooding back. He notes ominously that he remembers this day from his past life. It was the last day he saw his sister alive. A beautiful woman with long blue hair turns to him, smiling radiantly. It is his sister, Alice Vert. She greets him warmly, noting it has been a while. Inside a lavish room, they stand before Prince Lionel Severus, a white-haired young man sitting casually at a table. The prince addresses Alice, asking if she enjoyed her travels and commenting that she looks well. He thanks her, though a translator note suggests he is merely kissing up to the powerful family. The prince shifts his tone, asking how long Alice intends to rot in the countryside. He mentions hearing she left on a journey and expresses worry about her whereabouts. He glances at Cyan, remarking that no one else would welcome him there. The prince then turns his attention fully to Cyan, asking if that is why he didn't go home for 2 years. He teases that Alice might be worried Cyan would threaten her position of power, noting that Cyan is so shy. The prince observes that Cyan looks happy and points out that Cyan has grown to be the same height as him. Alice chimes in with a laugh, saying Cyan will be taller than her soon. Cyan smiles gently, teasing back by asking if she thinks she shrank instead. Alice playfully tells him to stop. The scene is warm, filled with laughter and family affection. But beneath the joy, a dark narration box appears, shattering the peace. July 2nd, year 988. It was the last day. I saw my sister alive. The shadows of the academy loom large as Cyan turns his back on the towering gates, his expression hardened by a grim reality. He speaks plainly to the silence, listing the lethal threats waiting for him at home, Askell, and the Duke's wife, a woman who seeks his death at every turn while his father turns a blind eye. To return now would be nothing short of suicide. Beside him, Alice struggles to comprehend the gravity of his words. She asks about Krantz, clinging to the hope of familial bonds, but Cyan's gaze is cold. He reminds her of the cruelty he endured, stating bluntly that Krantz once tried to kill him. The revelation strikes Alice like a physical blow, her eyes widening in horror. Before she can protest, a voice cuts in. Brian Kendrick, the armored guardian knight, steps forward to corroborate the story. He admits his own ignorance, having been away in Fruina, but confirms the malice of the Duke's wife and Krantz. Alice covers her mouth, trembling as the truth sinks in. Cyan stands stoic, arms crossed, absolving her of guilt, but the weight of her failure to protect him crushes her. Tears welling in her eyes, Alice asks why he never spoke of this. Cyan dismisses it as the past, noting Krantz's lack of remorse. Suddenly, Alice rushes forward, wrapping Cyan in a desperate embrace. She vows, with tearful intensity, to protect him from this moment on. Even the stoic Brian wipes a tear from his eye, moved by the resolve. Cyan, surprised but comforted, accepts the hug before pulling away. He has somewhere to be. He leaves them with a request to take care of themselves, walking off into the distance as Brian and Alice wave, the sunset casting long shadows over their farewell. The scene shifts violently to a memory, a sharp crack of wood against bone. In a sunlit training hall, a younger Cyan stands over a cowering Krantz. The bully screams for mercy, claiming the match is over, but Cyan, eyes glowing with red mana, raises his wooden sword for another strike, mocking Krantz's ceaseless babbling. Just as the blow descends, a blur of motion intercepts him. Alice, younger and fierce, blocks Cyan's strike with her own blade. She glares at him, demanding he stop and apologize to Krantz immediately. In the present, Cyan sits in a luxurious room, recalling that moment. He realizes that in his past life, Alice's blind loyalty to her family led to misery. He clenches his fist, resolving to protect her from that future by revealing the truth. A man in black interrupts his thoughts, handing over 2 letters. One is official, bearing the imperial family's seal. The other, a coded message from a janitor. Cyan's eyes scan the cipher. It's an assassination order for Drenian Nephilis, tied to a major incident involving the Empress's brother. A scantily clad assassin with dark hair and pink facial markings leans in, confirming the official letter is from Princess Erin. Cyan sighs, noting the Hall Master's annoying affection for him. He deciphers the rest of the note, demonic sword restriction. Suddenly, a pink-haired dragon girl enters, scratching her head and dragging a stuffed toy. Cyan is startled by her rapid growth but quickly refocuses, ordering preparations for a trip to the palace. The narrative moves to a grand, sun-drenched estate. The atmosphere is tense. Servants whisper as Alice walks down the hallway, her face shadowed and grim. An elderly butler stammers her name, shocked by her return. Alice ignores him, marching straight to the main parlor. Inside, a blonde woman sits elegantly on a velvet sofa, reading. She looks up, her eyes narrowing slightly as she recognizes the intruder. "Alice?" she asks, her voice dripping with faint sweetness. She smiles, a predator's grin, asking if her daughter has been well. Alice stands frozen, whispering a denial, asking for the Duchess. The mother's expression doesn't waver, but her intent is clear. In a blur of motion, she raises her hand, swinging it violently toward Alice's face in a vicious, disciplining slap. The force of the slap reverberates through the room. Duchess Margaret Urzatha's head snaps to the side, her perfectly coiffed hair disheveled by the violence of the blow. Servants in the background recoil in horror, their mouths agape. "Why, your grace," one cries out. "Guards," another screams, pointing frantically. "What are you all doing?" The Duchess clutches her stinging cheek, her eyes wide with disbelief as she looks up from the floor. Alice stands over her, cold and imposing. "Are you out of your mind?" the Duchess screeches, her voice cracking. "You're the one who's out of your mind, Duchess Margaret," Alice retorts, her voice dropping to a chilling register. "You tried to kill Cyan." The text hangs heavy in the air. The Duchess stammers, sweat beading on her forehead. I tried to kill Cyan. Do you have any proof?" Alice's eyes narrow, glowing with a faint blue luminescence. "You just confirmed it for me," she says, leaning in. "It must be true since you're asking for evidence." The Duchess's face twists into a snarl of indignation. "You dare to put a hand on me when you don't even have any evidence. What are you all doing?" The Duchess shrieks at the hesitation of the household guards. "Drag her out of here." 6 armored guards surround Alice, weapons drawn. "My apologies, miss," one shouts as they lunge. Alice doesn't flinch. Her blue eyes flash with power. She leaps into the air, dodging a heavy sword swing with acrobatic grace, landing on a guard's shoulder before vaulting away. "Yuk!" a guard grunts as he is struck. Blue energy swirls around Alice's hands. "Elemental spirit, Gundine," the text announces. Torrential streams of water materialize from thin air, slamming into the guards with the force of a tidal wave. "That's spirit magic," the Duchess thinks, stumbling back in terror as her guards are washed away like toys. How can she take down the guards so easily? Alice strides through the soaked and groaning bodies of the knights, her boots clicking on the wet floor. "Don't come any closer." "What are you doing?" the Duchess pleads, cowering near the fireplace. "Cyan's guardian knight confessed everything," Alice states calmly, closing the distance. "He said that you were the one behind the assassination attempt on Cyan 2 years ago." Alice looms over the terrified woman. "Did you think you could get away with it if Cyan kept quiet? You're believing those inferior things' words over mine." The Duchess tries to regain her composure, pointing a shaking finger. "Have you truly lost your mind?" "Shut up, Margaret Urzeth," Alice commands, her face inches from the Duchess's. "I'm going to tell father about this all. You better be prepared." Alice turns on her heel and storms out, leaving the Duchess trembling on the floor. A sinister grin slowly spreads across Margaret's face as the door closes. "Stupid bitch," she sneers, her fear evaporating into malice. She's still unaware after all she's been through. Duke Villiers, she thinks, her eyes glowing green in the shadows, does not care about anything other than that child. The scene shifts to the Duke's study, bathed in golden afternoon light. Duke Villiers stands by his desk, looking out the window, his back to Alice. "I don't intend on making any excuses," the Duke says coldly. "I thought that it was fine as long as Cyan was all right." Alice stands behind him, fists clenched. "He had to fight off 6 official knights," she argues passionately. "He would have died if it weren't for his knight, Brian Kendrick." The Duke turns, his expression one of bored disdain. Ha, do you think that fool saved Cyan? He scoffs. That stupid guy was basically an errand boy for the knights. Alice freezes, confused. Are you trying to say that Cyan took them all down? The Duke asks, a hint of challenge in his voice. You don't know him at all, do you? He walks over to a bookshelf and retrieves a sealed envelope. Take this, he says, extending it to her. Alice looks at the red envelope with the golden seal. What's this? A banquet invitation from the imperial family, the Duke explains. I can't go, so I want you to go in my place. Go and relax yourself. Alice stares at him, dumbfounded. You don't need to worry about Cyan, the Duke adds, turning back to his books. That child is stronger than you think. Alice clutches the letter, her expression hardening. What? I'm going to return to the barracks, she mutters, turning to leave. She exits the study, the heavy door clicking shut behind her. She stands in the hallway, frustration radiating from her. Heavy footsteps approach. He's only 13, a voice says. Alice looks up. Miss Alice, a woman with long, flowing lavender hair and a gentle smile stands there. Cecilia. Alice gasps. Welcome back, Miss Alice, the woman says warmly. It is Cecilia Rain, a high-ranking knight of the Knights of Light. And, Cecilia pulls Alice into a tight hug. Where have you been all this time? You never sent even a letter. I'm sorry. Alice mumbles, burying her face in Cecilia's shoulder. She was my exclusive maid, teacher, and friend, Alice thinks fondly. Cecilia pulls back, gripping Alice's shoulders. All right, let's get you some change in scenery. Change in scenery? Alice asks. Yeah, let's go to the Imperial Palace. Cecilia beams. The scene cuts to a carriage rattling along a dirt road. Inside, Nana, the pink-haired dragon girl dressed in a maid outfit, presses her face against the glass. A deer, she exclaims, her dragon wings and tail popping out in excitement. Nana, Cyan says sternly from the opposite seat. Put your tail away. MMPH. Nana grunts, straining. With a poof sound effect, the wings and tail vanish. Hiya, she cheers, posing cutely. I didn't know that she could just hide her body parts in this way. Cyan thinks, watching her. Ta-da. Nana grins. It feels more safe going around outside now, but, Cyan thinks, looking at the energetic girl. I feel like she's going to create trouble. She's way too excited. Yeez, young master right away. Nana chirps. Suddenly, the carriage lurches to a halt. Thud. Papa, what's going on? Nana asks, alarmed. Cyan sits calmly, unfazed. Nothing, he says, his eyes shadowed. Just some insects. Outside, a group of rugged bandits blocks the road. Huh, the leader laughs, his face marred by a jagged scar. He licks his teeth, revealing sharp canines. Give me everything you have. Beside him, a bandit with an eye patch draws a mace. Oh, so no big deal. Get rid of them, Cyan orders from inside. The carriage door slides open. Phew. Brian Kendrick steps out, adjusting his gloves. The weakling Brian is no longer weak, the narration notes. Brian draws his sword, the blade gleaming with blue energy. Serial slash, the text reads. In a blur of motion, Brian cuts through the air. Arcs of blue light tear through the bandit ranks. Die. This is revenge for Fernando, a bandit screams, leaping at him. Waff. The bandits are sent flying, their weapons shattered, bodies hitting the dirt hard. Sir, a bandit cries out in panic as Brian stands victorious over the unconscious bodies. Die. This. Brian sheathes his sword with a sharp click. I have grown stronger, he thinks triumphantly. He turns back to the carriage with a goofy grin. Get going right away if you're done. Cyan yells from inside. Yeez, young master right away. Brian replies, scrambling back to the driver's seat. The scene shifts to a dimly lit room filled with stacks of paper. A woman with a dark purple ponytail and glasses is reviewing a document. This is the list of people attending the banquet, a subordinate says, handing her a stack. Thanks, the glasses woman says. There are a lot more people than usual this time around. She scans the list. Shouldn't you push off the plans? The subordinate asks nervously. No, this has to happen now, she replies firmly. Her eyes stop on a name. This child is attending too. A picture of a white-haired girl is shown on the file. A rare genius whose elemental stats are all 20%, the file reads. Although she cannot attend many lessons because of her fragile body. The granddaughter of the Garam Mage Association's head, Rygan's Rainreaver, Lunav Rainreaver, the text identifies her. This child never really showed herself in society, the woman muses, her golden eyes narrowing behind her glasses. So why is she attending this banquet? I heard that the association president told her to attend, the subordinate supplies. What? The woman is surprised. What is he planning? She flips to another page. I don't have a good feeling about this. Something is definitely up with this banquet. She stares at the photograph of a man with a mustache. He needs to die as soon as possible, she says with venom. And this bastard. He's sickening. A rapist that goes after only married women using his powers. She glares at the photo of Drenian Nephilis. He's my fiancé. Sorry, the subordinate gasps, shocked by the revelation. The final scene opens to a bright blue sky above a bustling city street. Banners hang between tall, timber-framed buildings. The roads here sure are bigger, a voice comments. Nana, now walking in the street, is wide-eyed with wonder. Whoa, she gasps, sparkles surrounding her as she takes in the sights. She isn't looking where she is going. Bump. Nana collides with the leg of a tall man in brown clothing. Ugh, she grunts, stumbling back from the impact. Nana has just collided with a tall stranger. The impact makes a soft thud. Nana recoils, her eyes squeezed shut. Ugh, she grunts, clutching her maid uniform. The man she bumped into, a tall figure in brown commoner's clothes, looks down. Who are you? Look where you're going, he snaps initially, but his expression shifts instantly to a disarming, almost overly friendly smile. Ha, it's okay, young lady. He reaches out, his large hand patting Nana's head with a familiarity that feels out of place. Nana, flustered, bows her head. Ah, I'm sorry, she stammers. She looks up at him with wide, innocent golden eyes. What should I do to make up for it? The man leans in closer, his smile widening. From the side, Cyan Vert watches the interaction, his eyes narrowing into slits of suspicion. The man's friendly demeanor doesn't fool him for a second. Papa, the people here are all so kind. Nana chirps, gesturing to the man who scratches the back of his head sheepishly. Cyan's inner voice cuts through the facade. No, he's not. Get away from him at once. Cyan steps forward, his hand reaching out to pull Nana back. I forgot she doesn't know much about the world, he thinks, frustration evident on his face. Brian Kendrick, the knight beside him, looks confused. She needs to be more wary of people. This is bad, Cyan thinks. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts. Nana freezes. Why, young master? Nana's eyes. Brian stammers, pointing. Cyan looks down. Her eyes. Nana's golden pupils have constricted into reptilian slits, glowing with a menacing orange light. A dark, smoky aura begins to radiate from her small frame. Papa, she whispers, her voice dropping to a low, unnatural tone. Cyan stares, sweat forming on his brow. She's emitting an aura too, he realizes. People are going to find out about her. The tension peaks as Nana turns, the dark aura swirling violently around her maid's skirt. Shoot! Cyan doesn't waste a second. He grabs Brian's shoulder. Brian, send her to a restaurant right away, he commands, pointing down the street. Yes, young master. Brian shouts, saluting as he grabs Nana and sprints off, leaving dust clouds in his wake. Cyan watches them go, his expression deadpan. All that just because of hunger. He sighs, wiping sweat from his face. This isn't good. The scene cuts to a sunlit street view of a restaurant sign featuring a piece of meat on a bone. Inside, stacks of empty plates tower over the table. Nana pats her distended belly, a look of pure bliss on her face. Finally, I feel alive, she sighs. That was so yummy. Brian stands beside her, looking terrified at the sheer volume of food consumed. Cyan sits opposite them, cutting a piece of steak. He looks exhausted. It's a good thing I brought a lot of money, he thinks, a forced smile on his face as he eats. Raising a kid is really tough. Suddenly, a strange mana signature catches his attention. What's this strange mana? He looks up. A girl with short, pale lavender hair and striking purple eyes stands by their table. She wears a hooded cloak over a school uniform. Nice to meet you, she says with a polite, enigmatic smile. You're Cyan Vert, right? Cyan stares at her, knife and fork in hand. She knows my name, he thinks, wary. Yes, but who are you? He asks bluntly. Do you mind if I sit next to you? The girl asks, ignoring his question as she takes a seat next to him. Cyan frowns. You haven't answered my question. My name is Lunav, she introduces herself, her smile unwavering. I go to the same academy as you. I'm a second-year student there. Cyan searches his memory. Lunav. That sounds familiar. Why is she acting all friendly though? He wonders. Aloud, he says coldly, I didn't know. I don't really care about students who are not in my year. Lunav doesn't take offense. That's fine. I'm basically a loner compared to someone as popular as you, she chirps. Popular? Me? Cyan thinks, confused. Across the table, Brian leans in to whisper to the drowsy Nana. Brian, is that person Papa's friend? Nana mumbles, half asleep. No idea. They don't really seem like friends though. Brian whispers back. Lunav observes the trio. Your guardian knight and maid are pretty close, she notes. Plus, they're eating with you. She rests her chin on her hand, looking at Cyan with interest. Looks like you're a pretty warm person, unlike the rumors. There's no point in eating separately. Cyan scowls. Praising me out of nowhere. What's her reason for approaching me anyway? Lunav leans in closer, her purple eyes piercing. Did you come to the capital for the banquet? Cyan is taken aback. Yes. How did you know that? What other reason could you have for coming here when you never leave the academy? She counters logically. She stands up, smoothing her cloak. Well, that's good, we'll see each other there, since I was invited too. Was she also sent that letter? Cyan wonders, his eyes shadowed. That means she's most likely a noble. Lunav turns to leave. Well, let's leave it at introductions for today. It's a shame, but I have to get going. She walks away, waving slightly. Please remember me. My full name is Lunav Rainreaver. As she disappears, Cyan's eyes widen in recognition. I remember her now. Lunav Rainreaver. A mental image of a bearded man with a monocle appears. She's the Garam Mage Association President Rygan's Rainreaver's granddaughter. Cyan's expression darkens. Did that crazy old geezer send her? He recalls a tragic memory from his past life. In my past life, she died young while attending the academy. An image shows Lunav's body floating lifelessly in a tank of water. Though I'm not sure that happened because of her fragility or because the association performed intense human experiments on her. Cyan rests his chin on his hand, annoyed. I keep getting involved with people I didn't encounter in my past life. It's so annoying. That means the future is constantly changing. The scene shifts to a foreboding shot of the capital city at sunset, bathed in ominous red light. Why did this all have to happen on the day of the banquet? Cyan thinks. That too during the banquet that'll be called the Banquet of Blood. The title card flashes, 32. To the Imperial Palace, 2, ***. The scene transitions to a lavish dressing room. A girl with long silver hair and striking red eyes is being attended to. A maid fastens a pearl accessory into her hair. How's that, Leximus? The girl asks, turning around. She wears a stunning dress with intricate lace sleeves. Do I look okay? A boy with reddish-brown hair gives her 2 thumbs up. You look super pretty, Your Highness. You're the prettiest I've ever seen you. The princess blushes furiously. Stop. You've already tried on enough outfits. It's okay. I'm sure young Master Cyan will like that look, the boy teases. The princess flinches. Stop. I said I don't like him, she shouts, her face bright red. How will he see me? She stammers. The boy looks at her deadpan. You literally sent him the invitation. Don't play dumb. That's just. Well, she flails. A maid interrupts, holding a jewelry box. Your Highness, His Highness, Lionel, has sent a gift. She opens the box to reveal a beautiful silver necklace with a red gem. His Highness said that this might look good on Her Highness. The princess looks surprised. My brother sent me a gift. Really? It's pretty. I'm sure young Master Cyan will also. The boy starts again. Stop, the princess screams, vibrating with embarrassment. I said I don't like him. The scene jumps to the interior of a magnificent banquet hall, bathed in golden light. Chandeliers hang from the high ceiling. It sure is crowded, Cyan thinks, now dressed in a sharp, dark formal suit. He scans the room. I don't see the target yet though. He walks towards a shadowed alcove. Kellen, if you're here, then Askell must be as well. A man with brown hair steps out from the shadows. Yes, he's with Prince Lionel at the moment. But first, there's something I must tell you. Cyan looks at him. What? Would it be possible for you to leave this banquet? Kellen asks gravely. Was there a leak about the purification mission? Did something happen? Cyan asks. I don't have a good feeling about this, Kellen admits. I think many people including you may be in danger. Askell has ordered me to leave the palace before the banquet begins. Cyan's eyes narrow. Exclamation point. He said that he has prepared a small event, Kellen adds. Cyan connects the dots. The person behind the Banquet of Blood was Askell. A memory of the blonde-haired Askell smiling maniacally flashes in Cyan's mind. He was crazier than I expected. What? Cyan recalls Askell's words. A visual of a shadowy, grinning bomb creature surrounded by pink flames appears. Are you worried about innocent people dying? Nah, Cyan replies in the memory, looking down with a smirk. I just thought he was being cute. Back in the present, Cyan turns to Kellen. More importantly, I'm going to have to push off the mission. The reason being, Kellen asks. Cyan's eyes glow with purple energy as a text box appears, psychological influence. Your dress looks good on you, Hall Master, Cyan says, his voice projecting directly into someone's mind. A woman with dark purple hair and golden eyes turns around in the crowd. It is Sarika. Ha, psychological influence. She spots Cyan. Cyan, what is it? Cyan walks past her, not stopping. I think we'll have to push off the purification mission. The reason being, she asks mentally. I just received the intel that. What brings you here? Sarika asks, her golden eyes scanning Alice's elegant midnight blue gown. Alice beams, holding her dress. I'm just here to get some fresh air. And also it's my duty, so. Sarika's expression tightens with worry. This is bad. She's going to get swept into the incident, she thinks, her mind racing with the danger Cyan warned her about. Suddenly, a smooth, unwelcome voice interrupts them. Miss Sarika Nigrathi. Oh, my. Miss Alice is here too. A man with slick-back brown hair and a well-groomed mustache approaches, extending a hand with practiced charm. It is Drenian Nephilis. It's like I'm seeing two walking flowers, he compliments them, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. Sarika forces a polite smile, but a vein pops on her forehead. Damn it, I'm already occupied as is, she fumes internally. What a mess. Even the target is here now. The scene cuts to the dark, stone-paved corridors of the palace underground. Cyan Vert walks briskly, the tails of his coat flapping. Brian, I want you to do something, Cyan says without looking back. Behind him, Brian Kendrick slams his fist against his armored chest in a dramatic salute. Yes, young master, I, Brian Kendrick, shall carry out any order. Cyan glances back, unamused. Yeah, don't do that. It's really awkward. This guy has been walking on air lately, Cyan thinks, observing his knight's excessive enthusiasm. Is it because he feels more like a proper guardian knight after taking that dragon blood? Cyan stops and turns to face him. Go inspect the underground pathways of the palace. Brian's bravado instantly evaporates. He shrinks back, sweat dropping. That place is dark. It's scary. Cyan points down the hall, his patience wearing thin. Walking on air, my ass. Just go. I have my reasons. Suddenly, Brian's eyes widen. He points frantically past Cyan. Why, young master? Behind you. What? Cyan turns. A suspicious person is taking a peek at you. Brian shouts. From the shadows of a doorway, a figure with glowing yellow eyes radiates a menacing dark aura. This presence. Brian grits his teeth, his hand going to his sword. I'll take them down. Wait, Brian. Cyan yells, but it's too late. Brian lunges, tackling the figure to the ground with a loud thud. Gah, the figure cries out. It's fine, Brian, Cyan sighs, walking over. We know her. Brian blinks, looking down at the person he's pinned, a young maid with short brown hair. Ah, is that so? Ouch. The maid groans, tears pricking her eyes. I'm sorry. A flashback filters in, sepia-toned memories of a younger, tearful Nana looking up at Cyan. Did you leave me for this girl, master? She had cried. He even offered me a job, the narration recalls. How about you work as my maid this time? Cyan had asked. Back in the present, the maid stands up and curtsies, dusting off her skirt. Hello, I'm Master Cyan's maid, Nana. Cyan watches her, his expression unreadable. She's younger and cuter than me, he notes with a hint of annoyance. He turns to his knight. Brian, it's dangerous outside. You guard Emily and Nana. Brian straightens up. Understood. Are you leaving? Yeah, I need to, Cyan replies, his eyes glowing with a faint purple light as he walks away into the shadows. Emily wasn't here in my previous life, Cyan thinks, his face hardening. Since I found Kellen spying on me, I knew he was planning something. But don't you dare touch my people, Askelvert. The scene shifts back to the glittering banquet hall. Princess Erin, looking stunning in her white dress, stands amidst the crowd. A girl with pale blue hair approaches her, Lunav Rainreaver. Lunav Rainreaver, right? Erin asks, recognizing her. Lunav curtsies deeply, her purple eyes gleaming with mischief. A second-year student at the academy. So you remember me. I'm honored, Princess Erin. Lunav straightens, her smile turning predatory. I could never forget the genius of the Garam Kingdom. I welcome you to the banquet on behalf of the Empire. She crosses her arms, looking around dramatically. You really are very kind. Humph. I went out of my way to invite them, but I don't see them anywhere. Humph. How fickle. She leans in close to Erin, her voice dropping to a whisper. Do you know Cyan? Eren flinches, sweat forming on her cheek. Of course I was just with him yesterday, Lunav continues breezily. With him? Are you too close? Eren's inner thoughts scream across the panel. Ah. My thoughts leaked out. Lunav's grin widens, her eyes narrowing like a cat playing with a mouse. As I thought. Princess Eren, you are in love with Cyan, aren't you? Eren's face erupts in a blush. Kaya, she shrieks, completely flustered. While Eren panics, the scene cuts to a balcony elsewhere in the palace. Prince Lionel, with long silver hair, stands beside the blonde-haired Askel Vert. Prince Lionel, Askel says smoothly. The day has finally come, Askel, Lionel replies, a dark smile playing on his lips. I know you've put in a lot of effort, Askel says, his gaze fixed on the banquet hall below. Our gift should have been delivered as well. That man, Boris, was quite useful. We'll use him tons from now on. Lionel's eyes glow with fanaticism. To change this empire that's drenched in peace. Indeed, Askel agrees, his face shadowed. It's time to show them just who the empire needs. Cut back to the hallway with Brian and Nana. Nana suddenly gasps, grabbing her head. Ah, how could I forget? I must be stupid. She falls to her knees, wailing. I can't believe I came all the way here to forget it. Brian looks down at her, confused. Nana holds up a red bow tie with a jeweled center. This is a bow tie Askel gave me. She looks at it with teary eyes. He told me to give it to you as a gift. Suddenly, the jewel in the center of the bow tie flashes with an ominous red light. What's? Brian starts, sensing a disturbance. A massive, reptilian yellow eye snaps open in the air above the bow tie. This smell, a monstrous voice echoes. Dark energy explodes from the bow tie, tearing a hole in reality. Above the palace, the sky turns a bruised purple as a massive portal opens. Everyone, come this way, a voice shouts as the banquet hall descends into chaos. Quickly, evacuate. In the hall, Eren stands frozen as dark, hooded figures materialize from the shadows. Leave it to the guards. Lunav shouts, shoving Eren away from a descending blade. Princess, you need to evacuate first. I'm fine. We need to take care of others first. Eren cries, regaining her composure. Lunav smiles, drawing a weapon. Then I'll help. Thanks, Lunav. The hooded assassins, monsters in disguise, tear through the royal guards. Blood sprays across the marble floor. Stop him. We need to stop him at all costs, a guard captain roars, charging a massive, cloaked figure. The monster simply swipes its hand, its claws gleaming. Whack! The guard screams as he is cut down. Help me, another guard begs, crawling backward. No. The final frame shows the guard's terrified face as the shadow of the monster looms over him, signaling the beginning of the massacre. No. A guard captain screams, his face contorted in sheer terror as a massive shadow engulfs him. Captain, his subordinate cries out, helpless. The jaws of a colossal mandrake snap shut with a sickening crunch. The wooden monstrosity, a twisted mockery of life with a gaping maw of jagged teeth, towers over the royal guards. Why are the gigantic demonic beasts you'd see at the front lines here? A guard wonders, trembling as he watches his comrades fall. Tears stream down a soldier's face as he grips his sword, paralyzed by the overwhelming despair. This is unwinnable. We're all going to die. Suddenly, a flash of teal energy slices through the air. Kvarg. The mandrake roars in agony as its wooden flesh is carved open. Dust settles to reveal two figures standing amidst the carnage. Lunav Rainreaver and Alice Vert. Use this time to evacuate the people, quickly. Lunav commands, her purple eyes sharp and focused. The weeping guard stares in disbelief. One of the academy instructors. Lunav doesn't waste a breath. She activates Quick Blade, her body becoming a blur of motion as she intercepts a hooded nightcrawler, her dagger sparking against their blade. Leave this place to us, she shouts to the guards. Behind her, Alice Vert stands ready, her expression stealing. Got it. Attention. We will guard the people evacuating. Lunav orders. The surviving guards, inspired by their arrival, find their courage. Yes, sir. But the relief is short-lived. Another mandrake looms, its branches writhing like serpents. Here it comes. Lunav warns. As she deflects an attack, a realization strikes her. The monsters and assassins aren't focusing on them. They are pushing past, their gaze fixed on a specific point in the hall. Are we not the targets? Lunav thinks, her eyes widening. But that way is. She looks toward the grand entrance where Princess Eren stands frozen. Princess Eren. Lunav screams, her voice cutting through the din of battle. You're their target. Eren gasps, turning just as a hooded assassin materializes from the shadows, a blade plunging toward her heart. Slash! Blood sprays across the pristine floor. Eren stumbles back, her eyes dilating in horror. It isn't her blood. Guard, she cries out. Her personal guard, Morris, slumps into her arms, a deep gash across his chest. Morris, wake up. Eren pleads, shaking him. His eyes are glassy, staring at nothing. Tears spill from Eren's eyes. It's my fault. I'm sorry, Morris. Grief instantly hardens into fury. Eren raises a hand, mana swirling violently around her. Aqua Blast. A concentrated torrent of high-pressure water erupts from her palm, blasting the assassin backward. Lunav watches, impressed. She just fused her spells. She's only a second year too. That's amazing. A guard approaches the grieving princess. There's no hope for him, Your Highness. You should evacuate to someplace safe. Eren looks down at her fallen protector one last time. I won't ever forget your sacrifice, Sir Morris. She stands, wiping her tears. Okay. Suddenly, the mandrake lunges again, its poisonous roots lashing out. Clang! A towering figure in heavy armor intercepts the blow. It is Brian Kendrick. Grim armor, he intones, a golden barrier shimmering into existence around them. I made a temporary barrier with my mana. He glances back at the princess. The mandrake's roots are made of lethal poison. Just getting into contact with it might kill you. My barrier should protect you from that poison, so please do not die. Eren nods, her regal bearing returning. This is my order. Yes, Your Highness, the guards roar in unison. We'll take care of this thing. We're going to make sure that the guard captain's sacrifice wasn't for nothing. We'll stop it somehow. You will. For the princess. While the guards hold the line, Luna finds herself locked in combat with a hooded figure radiating immense power. Asterisk clang. Clang. Asterisk sparks fly as their blades meet. Cook. Lunav grunts, forced back. Can I defeat this thing alone? She assesses her opponent, a high-ranking nightcrawler. She hesitates. If I were to fight with a dagger, it might expose me for who I really am. She grips her weapon tighter. But right now, that's not important. Red energy flares around her blade. Fog's sword, 8 fluttering petals. She unleashes a blinding flurry of strikes, invisible slashes tearing through the air and forcing the assassin back. The mandrake isn't moving anymore, a guard shouts. Let's recuperate and attack again, another yells. But the chaos isn't over. Another assassin leaps from the mandrake's corpse, aiming for the guards. Clash! Alice Vert intercepts the strike, her sword locking with the assassin's dagger. Alice needs to get the princess out of here safely, Lunav thinks, seeing the opening. Your Highness, get out of here. Alice shouts, parrying the assassin. I'm Alice Vert. This way. Eren follows the blue-haired girl. You are. I'm Alice Vert. This way. Alice repeats, leading the princess down a corridor. As they run, Eren watches Alice's back. If she's Alice Vert, does that mean she's Cyan's sister? Alice's expression softens for a moment as she runs. Cyan. I wonder if he's okay. Their escape is cut short. A massive, stone-skinned beast blocks the corridor, its blue eyes glowing with malice. A monster here too, Eren gasps. Alice steps forward, drawing her sword. I need to do this. She doesn't hesitate. Chain trap. Golden chains burst from the ground, wrapping around the monster's limbs and pinning it in place. We'll help. 2. Attack it. Eren and Lunav shout, preparing their own spells. Wait, Alice commands, mana flaring around her. I can't look all defeated in front of my juniors. Alice extends her hand. Flame spear. A barrage of fiery lances erupts, slamming into the bound monster. Before the smoke clears, she follows up. Freeze. Massive spikes of ice explode from the ground, piercing the monster and encasing it in a glacial prison. Protection. A blue barrier snaps into place around her allies to shield them from the shockwave. The final frame captures Alice mid-air, her sword glowing with brilliant blue energy as she descends for the killing blow, her hair whipping wildly in the aura of her power. I am a Vert, one who protects the Empire. Alice Vert roars the declaration as gravity takes hold. She swings her blade downward, the blue aura solidifying into a massive, crescent-shaped edge. Aqua Blade. Slash. The oversized stone beast doesn't stand a chance. The hydro-powered strike cleaves through its rocky hide as if it were parchment, dissecting the monster in a singular, fluid motion. I will make you regret having appeared in front of me. Alice shouts, her voice echoing with the authority of her house as the monster crumbles into rubble behind her. Dust and silence momentarily reclaim the corridor. Lunav, her red energy cloak still flickering, surveys the aftermath. The hallway is a graveyard of hooded figures and shattered monster parts. Is this the last one? She wonders, her breath hitching. She approaches one of the fallen assassins. The body isn't bleeding out normally. Instead, it begins to disintegrate into black, noxious fumes. Lunav's eyes narrow as the corpse dissolves into shadow. Is this? She recognizes the magical signature, marionette. The realization sends a chill through her. A spell that brings back the dead to control them like a marionette. It's a banned spell. She looks out over the dozens of dissolving bodies. It's a very difficult spell to cast. You need an immense amount of mana and time in order to make this many of them. Her gaze hardens. If they had prepared this many, it could not have been an individual. The scale of the attack finally clicks. Are they trying to start a war or something? Elsewhere in the palace, the chaos has reached the highest levels. Thwack! A hooded nightcrawler jerks violently as a long sword pierces its chest from behind. Kijik, the assassin chokes, collapsing. Standing over the body is an older man with flowing white hair and a regal red cape, the emperor himself. He leans heavily on his sword, sweat dripping from his brow. Huff, huff. Is that all there is? He pants, his age showing in his ragged breathing. He stares down at the corpse, frustration etched into his features. For something like this to happen on the day of the banquet, his legs give out, and he sinks to one knee. Thud. Father, your majesty. Two men rush to his side. It is Lionel and Askel, the latter looking particularly concerned. It's okay, the emperor wheezes, waving a hand weakly. I just pushed myself a bit too much. He looks up at them, a weary smile touching his lips. But it's nice to have you guys here, Lionel, Askel. Askel steps forward, offering a hand. Allow me to help you up, your majesty. He grips the emperor's hand firmly. Thanks, the emperor mutters. I'm fine, the emperor says, regaining his footing but still leaning on Askel. Go take care of the others first. Askel's expression shifts. The concern evaporates, replaced by a cold, unreadable shadow that veils his eyes. The knights in the castle will take care of it, Askel says, his voice smooth but carrying a dark undertone. Don't worry about that, your majesty. A sinister blue light reflects in his eyes. We'll be by your side. Meanwhile, the situation for Alice and the princess is deteriorating. Something that seemed a lot deeper than trivial family issues, echoes in the mind of Brian Kendrick as the scene shifts to a quiet hallway. He stands with a maid, Emily, who holds a crimson bow tie adorned with a large, glowing gem. Young Master Askel gifted this to young Master Cyan. Brian asks, skepticism heavy in his voice. Yes, Emily replies innocently. Brian rubs his chin, staring at the object. That's strange. I don't have a good feeling about this. ? Emily tilts her head. Is something wrong? She asks. Well no, Brian admits, but he's never sent young Master Cyan gifts before. He stares intensely at the gem. This is just my observation, but I've always felt that young Master Cyan has harbored resentment against young Master Askel. The gem in Emily's hands begins to pulse with a malevolent light. Brian's instincts scream at him. Brian, we have to run, a voice whispers in his head. Or perhaps it's just his survival instinct kicking in. He looks at Emily. Why? Then he sees it. Something dangerous is coming this way. Emily's eyes have rolled back, glowing with a possessed yellow light. The gem in her hands flares violently. Crackle. What's that? Brian shouts, grabbing her. Kaboom. The wall beside them explodes inward. Debris flies everywhere as a massive, dark shape tears through the palace architecture. From the dust emerges a nightmare, a wolf-like demon towering over them, its fur matted and dark, blue lightning crackling from its maw. A high-ranking monster, Viamoth. Brian gasps, his face pale. The beast snarls, its blue eyes locking onto them. In the main hall, panic reigns. Shit, it's over. Marquis Drenian screams, clutching his head as he sprints past confused nobles. I'm going to die at this rate. He runs blindly, shoving past women in ball gowns. I did manage to get out of there faster than anyone else. But I never expected those monstrous things to be at the front doors too. He sees the grand exit ahead, but it is blocked by a wall of nightcrawlers slaughtering the guards. I need to make it out of here alive. Tears stream down his face. I must make it back safe and sound, so that I can see my lovely little maid, Lily. His desperate sprint leads him straight into the path of a blade. Slash! Marquis Drenian, a woman screams. Kaya. The Marquis's head flies through the air, his body collapsing in a spray of blood. The nobles recoil in terror as the assassins advance, stepping over the corpse. Damn it. Are we screwed? A guard yells, backing away. Suddenly, droplets of water float into view. Water? A guard blinks. Whoosh! A massive torrent of pressurized water slams into the assassins, washing them away in a violent surge. Aqua explosion. Alice Vert lands gracefully in the center of the hall, her dress fluttering as the water recedes. Lunav, now, she shouts. Lunav steps forward, her hand extended. Freeze. Asterisk crack. Crackle, asterisk. The water drenching the assassins instantly solidifies. Massive spikes of ice erupt from the floor, skewering the enemies and freezing them into jagged statues. The hall falls silent for a second, the nobles staring wide-eyed at the sudden salvation. Amazing. They killed all those monsters in an instant. Who are they? Alice stands tall, though her chest heaves with exertion. My name is Alice Vert, she announces. She raises her sword. Prepare to attack. Behind her, Lunav stumbles. Their next attack will begin soon, Lunav whispers, sweat beading on her forehead. You need to get out of here. Alice catches her. Lunav, we'll protect her highness, the guards shout, rallying around them. I'm fine, but this child, Alice says, looking at the exhausted Lunav. You don't need to worry about me, I will recover soon, Lunav assures her, though she looks ready to collapse. Alice turns to the knights. Guard knights, please use barriers to protect the nobles. You need to hold on until the battle is over. She looks at the elite royal knights. Royal knights, please protect the princess. And back me up if I go down. The lead knight nods grimly. I will do everything I can. Alice steps forward again, her eyes glowing with blue mana. Asterisk to stop these things. Even if I keep taking them down, more will just appear from elsewhere. It's as if they know where we are at all times. Asterisk. Back in the shattered corridor, Brian stands alone against the Behemoth. His legs are trembling uncontrollably. Rattle rattle. Emily clings to his back, sobbing. Stay behind me. Brian orders, forcing his voice to be steady. He grips his sword, staring up at the behemoth. For a high-ranking monster to appear in the palace. He swallows hard. But I need to be able to defend myself. And I am the only one who can protect these two right now. He feels Emily shivering against his armor. However, she's too close to me. I believe in you. You can do it. Emily cries out. Roar. The Behemoth lunges, its massive claws swiping down with enough force to crush a tank. Clang. Brian catches the blow on his sword. Sparks fly as his boots skid backward across the floor. Ugh, he grunts, straining under the immense weight. Are you alright? Of course I am. Brian lies through grit teeth, forcing a grin. Don't worry, I won't even let it scratch you. He manages to shove the claw back. I stopped it. Alright, this should be doable. His thought is cut short. Kang. The Behemoth isn't done. It looms over him, opening its jaws wide. Blue energy gathers in its throat, crackling with lethal intensity. Brian looks up, his eyes widening in sheer terror as the monster prepares to unleash a point-blank blast. Is this it for me? He thinks, paralyzed by the imminent death glowing in the beast's maw. Is this it for me? The thought paralyzes Brian Kendrick. He stares helplessly into the maw of the Behemoth, the blue energy of its breath weapon expanding to consume his entire vision. The heat is already searing his skin, the roar deafening. He braces for the end. I'm sorry, young master. A voice screams from the void, not of fear, but of apology. Kaboom! A beam of concentrated purple energy tears through the air, slamming into the Behemoth's flank with the force of a meteor. The beast's head is knocked violently to the side, its lethal blast discharging harmlessly into the ceiling, bringing down a shower of stone and dust. Brian's eyes snap open, shielding his face from the debris. What's that? The smoke swirls in the corridor, thick and choking. Through the haze, a silhouette stands where the energy beam struck. It is small, yet it radiates a terrifying pressure. Whoosh! The dust clears to reveal a girl in a maid's uniform, but she is no ordinary servant. Massive, leathery dragon wings sprout from her back, and a thick, scaled tail lashes behind her, cracking the floor tiles. Nana! Brian gasps, staring at the transformation. The girl turns her head slightly, revealing a profile of jagged teeth and glowing yellow eyes slit like a reptile's. She grins with a feral, predatory hunger, a low, guttural growl vibrating in her throat. The scene shifts violently back to the Great Hall. Steel meets dark magic as the royal knights fight for their lives. An assassin's blade is parried by a knight, sparks flying as he counters with a heavy overhead swing. He cleaves the hooded figure down, but there is no time to rest. Alice Vert is a whirlwind of blue mana, her body moving in a fluid dance of death. She spins, unleashing arcs of pressurized water that slice through the air like guillotines. It'll never end at this rate, she thinks, grit teeth betraying her exhaustion. She decapitates another assassin, but her eyes dart around the chaotic battlefield. I don't know who's behind this, but they planned it out thoroughly. The knights are going to get tired soon as well. Thud, asterisk. Around her, the guards are fighting valiantly, but the enemy numbers seem infinite. Every time one falls, another steps over the corpse. We need a different solution. Alice's mind races as she deflects a strike. She watches an assassin she just downed. Its body doesn't bleed right. It twitches, dark energy stitching it back together. Karar. The fallen assassin rises, its mask falling away to reveal a skeletal, rotting visage fueled by necromancy. Undead. Alice realizes, horror dawning on her. They were marionettes resurrected with dark magic. The realization hits her like a lightning bolt. Physical attacks are meaningless against infinite regeneration. She needs a counter. Think of a magic that's the opposite of dark magic. Her mind flashes to the iconography of the Empire, the blinding radiance of divinity. The first thing that comes to mind is God of Light, Lumendal, and his light magic. An image of a six-winged seraph wielding a sword of pure light fills her thoughts. If someone can cast light magic, there might be a chance for us to win. Alice's eyes snap toward the center of the defensive formation. Then, this is the only way. She screams over the din of battle. Princess Erin, the white-haired princess, currently maintaining the ice barriers, looks up in shock. Please imbue my sword with your mana. Alice shouts, extending her blade. Erin's eyes widen in panic. I can't. The protection spell on the knights will be broken if I do. She knows the cost. If she drops the barrier to enchant Alice's weapon, the knights protecting the nobles will be exposed to the onslaught. Don't worry, your highness. A blonde knight steps forward, bashing an assassin back with his shield. He looks back at the princess, sweat dripping down his face but his smile confident. We can hold on for a bit. Please trust us. Erin looks at him, then at Alice. She sees the resolve in their eyes. The fear in her own expression hardens into determination. All right, then. Erin raises her hands, abandoning the defensive wards. She focuses her immense mana into a singular point. Blessing light. A pillar of golden radiance erupts from her palms, bathing the hall in a warm, holy glow. The light rushes toward Alice, wrapping around her sword, turning the steel into a beacon of brilliance. Alice feels the surge of power. It's working. The holy energy hums in her grip, fighting against the nature of her own magic. Although it's difficult to combine two types of mana, Alice's eyes glow with intense blue light as she forces her hydrokinesis to merge with the divine blessing. If I add spirit magic in, things might flow as smoothly as butter. Blue aura flares around her, intertwining with the gold. The two opposing forces wrestle for a moment before stabilizing into a dazzling, ethereal mixture of ocean blue and holy gold. Alice grins, the thrill of the gamble rushing through her veins. Well, I'm still unsure of its success, she murmurs, raising the glowing blade high. But I'm fine with taking a risk for this.